How's it going, everyone? And welcome to the 606. I'm your host, as always, SESvince, joined, like always, by my very good friend, Basharat. How's it going, Bash?
Dude, it's going good, man. I'm so excited. We got a surprise that we were waiting kind of all summer for. We got a surprise reveal. We're going to be able to talk about an interesting addition to this franchise lineup. A lot of
Mhm.
intrigue over how these guys are going to interact, and this is going to be really cool. Something we're looking forward to now that we know all of these new surprises. And yeah, that means, let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers getting LeBron James. Yeah, I'm excited.
Uh, what? No. We're not talking about the Philadelphia. I thought we were here to talk about the Odyssey, dude. I watched the movie like 3 times.
The movies, right? No, yeah, we should talk about the movies. My bad, dude. In fact, did I got this shirt on? I think this ties into one of the movies that's out. Why don't we? You want to talk about this one?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem like you were ready to talk about the Odyssey. I wasn't really
Not
ready to
quite,
talk
dude.
about
Those
the
those
76ers.
showings were packed. I wasn't able to get in. So
Yeah. Okay. But we both watched Spider-Man, right?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right. Yeah. Let's talk about Spider-Man: Brand New Day then. Let's do a
Let's
review
do
about
that.
that. So
Let's do that.
yeah. Let's talk about that. Before we do, go ahead. Like, comment, subscribe on the video over there on YouTube. We're available everywhere audio podcasts can be found, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Music. Subscribe on YouTube and check out Wallet Media as well. We're partners over there. We drop an episode every single Saturday. And this week's episode, impromptu Spider-Man Brand New Day review. Bosh, why don't you take this one, man? Let's have you take the wheels.
Oh, I am happy to, man. We're gonna do first of all, if you're worried about spoilers, we're gonna start this section is gonna be spoiler free. We will give you ample warning before we delve into spoilers. So let's just talk about some of our general thoughts
Mhm.
about the movie, what we thought of certain things. To me, I want to start off with that suit. I mean, we saw it in the
Yes,
trailers, we saw it
yes,
at the end of No Way Home. It's freaking gorgeous, man.
it's
It
fantastic.
looks so good on screen. It looks so
Yes,
good. The colors, bright, vibrant. It actually nails, like, it is Spider-Man. It looks like his
yes,
actual suit. It's so beautiful. I couldn't take my eyes off it, honestly. There were scenes where, slower scenes, dialogue scenes, and he's just standing there, or he's like sitting in a chair, and it was so gorgeous. I loved it.
yes. Honestly, this is the best Tom Holland Spider-Man suit we've seen in the entire MCU. I think it
Easily.
might be. I think it might be. It's man, like
It's
it's
my
the best.
favorite of all of them. I mean, this is the closest. This is
No,
the,
yeah,
yeah.
out of all the Tom Holland ones, it's the best one, hands down. But where does it rank in terms of the overall
No,
like
it's my favorite of all of them.
all
Like,
of
yeah.
them, even
Oh,
over Toby and
definitely, because Toby's was so cool to see, and it was
yeah.
like, but that like weird raised webbing thing, like
Mhm.
that's not really the Spidey I ever pictured. I mean,
Right.
this is
Like this one still
Spider-Man.
has some raised webbing, but it's not like too like noticeable. Like
Yeah, this is like the most comic book suit of all of them, and it was just
yes.
even the little belt of, like, of webbing, that kind of the red belt of
Mhm.
webbing was perfect.
I like the web shooters. They were a
The
little
web
bulky,
shooters,
but
yeah,
I think they were nice.
yeah,
I think for me, I still like Andrew's TASM 2 suit the best.
it looks cool, yeah.
Just mostly because of the mask. I think the mask is the most Spidey looking one, especially because it gives me vibes of like Marvel vs. Capcom 2
My
type of Spider
only
Man.
my only hang up with that one, really, because even though they have the stylized, elongated spider and all that, it looks
Mhm.
cool. Like, I'm down with it. That's fine. It's the slightly muted colors,
Yes, yes,
uh,
I
and
will agree with you there.
and
The-
this is like bright blue and red, and even in dark rooms, it's clearly bright blue and red. It's beautiful, dude. It's gorgeous.
yes, no, we'll see. We'll see where this goes. But like right now, it's like 1A, 1B. Andrew, just for like the mask itself, because there's things I don't like about the Andrew suit, like it's not as bright as Tom's new suit in this film.
Yeah,
However, and the other one that I don't like is like the red lines like on the side of the pant leg.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that I is what I really don't personally like from it, but those are just nitpicks. Honestly, yeah, it's like top one, top two Spider.
I I love it. It's my favorite one. And then there's like it's tactile. I don't know if they did use CGI in some parts for it, but you saw
Hmm.
the scenes of them shooting in New York where he's wearing the suit. It's an
Yeah,
action suit.
yeah.
I think that helped in it coming across on film as like a real thing and as a beautiful, vibrant piece, because you can see it ripple and you can see the folds, and it just stands out so much more. Even when he's in like a room in an office, it just looked
Yeah, like it was different for sure because you could see like the imperfections with like his ears and stuff when he's wearing the mask when he's sitting down like working on his computer,
yeah.
like and stuff like that. You could kind of like see that, and that's one aspect of it I kind of like. I think the only parts where I was like maybe that was CGI is like there are scenes where he's like running off like a rooftop to dive off to go web
Right,
slinging, and he's
right,
like,
and that's more because the whole thing is kind of more CGI, like
yeah,
for the action sequence.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I honestly they did a really good job to not lean into the CGI, and it was really more like using props to
You know,
like,
that's the other part of it is I want to talk about is that these scenes, first of all, the scenes filmed on the streets of New York, where they came across as much more vibrant as in a real city. There's so many
mhm,
more people, and you could feel that it's actual out, exterior New York City, which you don't always get from especially Marvel movies,
yeah,
rather than being in a soundstage somewhere on the volume, which just feels empty and barren. This was like, again, it was the city and you could feel it and
yeah.
it looked cool
I
as
mean, I
as they
don't think
filmed
they
it.
did everything New York. I think weren't they like in Moscow or something for like some scenes?
Possibly, but I'm talking about the scenes where he's on the street,
Oh,
like,
okay.
running around on the street, going
Yes.
outside of the apartment, of his friends, and outside of,
Yeah, just like actually
being
like,
confronted, on the streets and talking to people and then running through them,
mhm,
chasing after
got you.
the
So his
antagonists.
actual presence within the city in the movie.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
like those
Yes.
scenes, those presences, and the night sequences, filmed at nighttime. I think with those,
Yes.
iconic the city, urban neon lighting and stuff like that. All of that just looked really cool, really tactile, and again, I'm going to go back to how beautiful the suit looked in those scenes.
Yes.
It was just
Agreed.
mesmerizing for me.
Agreed. No,
Yeah,
no, no. I honestly like the when I first saw the suit in the trailers, I was like, I don't know. But the more I saw it, I was like, no, it's like spot on. It's on the money, and
yeah,
not just that. Like you addressed it. I think though the whole like the world building that they did in this movie felt very Spider-Man, and
yeah.
this I don't think this is spoilers. I feel like there were times where I was watching this movie and I'm like, this feels like it's ripped off of the Insomniac Spider-Man game.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that because that ties again. Nice transition. The action sequences, in addition to just regular scenes, the
Hmm.
action sequences were beautiful and gorgeous and great. And I mean, let's before we get to the Insomniac one, they start with this kind of montage of him being Spider-Man and the things he's done
Yeah.
along the way as he's Spider-Man, and he's giving his little overview. And all those action sequences are super well shot.
Hmm.
They clearly convey what has happened, in that little montage sequence.
Hmm.
And they were, for the most part, I think every slow motion sequence in the beginning there was a comic book cover. And I want to get to
They were. They
one.
were.
Yeah, one in particular, which is as he's swinging around doing this montage, one of them is he comes upon a rooftop of bad guys on a rooftop. I forget whatever they were doing, breaking in or something, and just has a little fight sequence. It was the most PS4, PS5, PS4 Insomniac Spider-Man sequence
Yes.
ever, the rooftop fight.
Yes.
I mean, frankly, even going back to every Spider-Man game has always had these, where you just
Hmm.
come across a random rooftop of bad guys. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was a total, the whole entire fight sequence, the way he fights them, the kind of choreography of the fight was
Hmm.
exactly like you would do in the PS5, PS4 Insomniac Spider-Man. And at the end of it, one dude he goes flying, falling off the rooftop, and then Spidey comes down, swings around to catch him and save him. And as he swings, it's that iconic shot that is essentially a perfect recreation of Amazing Fantasy 15, the first ever Spider-Man appearance. It's the cover of that comic of him
Yes.
swinging with the guy, holding him up. It's perfect. Like, yeah, those comic book sequences, the action sequences, they were
Hmm.
great. What'd you think?
No, they were fantastic. I mean, we saw those in the trailers. Like you alluded to that the one scene, but like there were other like ripped off from comic book covers. Like you have one scene where Tombstone is grabbing him by
Yep.
like the neck, like over like
Holding him off the edge. Yeah.
yeah, hold him off the edge, a scaffold or something. The battle with Scorpion.
The
Uh,
Scorpion, yeah, the Scorpion
yeah,
battle where
and I loved it in
dodging the
that one.
tail as he's like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but what I liked about that one is that he was like wearing like winter jacket and like a beanie, and that
Right.
again makes me feel makes it reminds me like not only of the Insomniac games because like there were versions, especially in the Miles Morales version of the games, where like it's Spider-Man in like winter clothing, but also it reminded me of the scene from I think it was TASM 2 where Andrew's Spider-Man is in the bodega getting some like cold medicine because he's sick.
That's right.
So
He's got the cold, yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
don't know if that was an homage, but
That is an homage to early comics. I've read a lot. I've read all of early. I've read Spider-Man comics, not just Amazing, but every Spider-Man comic
Mhm,
that had him as a title character,
mhm.
from the introduction in the '60s all the way through like '99. I want to say. At some point, I did like this massive read through of like everything over a summer, and yeah, no, early Spidey comics especially. I mean, later on they do this too, but there
Mhm.
were early ones where he's got a cold and he's like got the sniffles. He's got like tissues, or like Aunt May has given him like, I don't know, he's a soup or like a beanie or whatever that he's
No,
wearing and trying to stay warm. Yeah.
it's great because I love that because also you saw like I just love instances where regardless of which iteration of Spider-Man it is, where he's wearing civilian clothing on top of his like Spider-Man
Always
suit.
hilarious and always
I
great.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Love
It's
it.
it's it's fucking great. It's one of the most iconic looks in Homecoming was the yellow blazer
Yep.
from that he was wearing.
Over the suit as he's lounging. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So the other comic covers, obviously, you saw like Tarantula. You saw
Tarantula one was really cool. I really love that one because he's
yes,
like striking out with his foot at him. Like, yeah, yeah.
Boomerang was another one.
I think yeah, there were so many I missed a couple for sure because I was so again just staring at the suit. Sometimes I may have missed
Yeah.
Boomerang. I can recall Tarantula, obviously him swinging through with the guy, the Amazing Fantasy 15 cover,
Mhm.
Tombstone, Scorpion. Yeah, there were the hand, the one with
Yeah,
the hand.
I
Yeah,
think those are all of them actually.
yeah,
There's another one. I can't remember who, but he's like ducking over them and going into like a brick wall.
yeah. That's the person I've seen that. I remember that, and I recognize that page, but I don't
Hmm.
remember who the villain was
Hmm.
who's doing that. I
Yeah.
can't quite remember. So
No,
I'll have to look that one up.
but because of that, they did a really good montage sequence to like they did a time jump, but they didn't do it just like, oh, it's been 4 years since. They did a
Right.
very unique way of doing a time jump, which I
Yeah.
very much enjoyed. And what's great about that is that I want to say like maybe 90-95% of all the trailers you seen was in that time jump
Yeah, that's
sequence.
even great because they spoiled not too much of the movie action sequences because most of the stuff in the trailers is from that montage, which
Mm-hmm.
happens in the first like 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really great. Um, I'm trying to think of what else there might be here that we can talk about spoiler free. Overall, I like the movie a lot. I think
Mm-hmm.
structurally it worked well. I think there were interesting side characters and main characters. I think his allies were interesting. The antagonists, for the most
Yes.
part, were interesting. Um, it was a well shot, gorgeous movie. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
even with the kind of lack of sunlight and daylight, it
Right.
was still pretty gorgeous, I think.
No, it definitely was. I agree with you. The visuals were fantastic. Again, I go back to the world building of this movie was so fantastic. One of the issues, or like the biggest issues with like the worst versions of the previous Spider-Man franchises was that they were trying to do too much and try to incorporate too much in one film. Honestly, like not only did I feel like some instances were just ripped off from like just ripped straight out of the Insomniac Spider-Man PlayStation games, but also this just felt like I was watching like a live action comic book story come to
Yeah,
life, where these characters, yes, it's Spider-Man's movie, but at no point did it feel like he was like in the background, like a background player. He was the main character of all at all time. But the introduction of all these different characters, they came in, they all served the purpose, in my personal opinion,
yeah.
and they didn't overstay their welcome.
No, it was naturally Spider-Man. And you know what's crazy is, despite the ties to the larger MCU, I really felt like this is the first MCU Spider-Man that was just a Spider-Man movie, but while you're watching it, the feeling you
Hmm.
get is I
Yeah,
wasn't concerned about the Marvel universe in
right.
at large. This was so well kept as a Spider-Man movie, even despite the fact that it does have large ties to the MCU at large that we'll
No,
get
it
to.
it, it does. It does, but it wasn't in a way where like it made it feel like Spider-Man. Okay, so one of the critiques that Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man in the MCU had was that he always felt like he was in the shadow of Tony Stark.
Yeah, it was
And
always a yeah,
like all the villains he faced all had like vendettas against Tony Stark, and then he like the surrogate was essentially Peter, and
right.
Peter was more focused on being an Avenger, wanted to like go to otherworldly like situations, and
And yeah, it was always Stark Tech. You're right. Yeah,
yeah, it was Star Tech. I mean, still he used the 3D printer for a lot of stuff, and he has like other things that he does. So
yeah,
but again, it makes it feel more like a modern
natural.
take on Spider-Man. Not that he's like advanced or anything like that. It's just like realistically, he's a smart dude
Yeah,
with the technology we have in today's day and age. Like this would be what Spider-Man would be like if he was currently active in 2026.
yeah. And
And
again, all of that stuff felt like a natural, organic part of his
mhm,
world, and
yes,
not like he was just subservient to, like, someone else's
exactly. It,
story.
it felt like mostly like everybody that was in this film was kind of like in Spider-Man's movie versus just being like a montage film like back in the
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
and like for instance, like Doctor Strange, it felt like Doctor Strange in No Way
In No
Home
Way Home. Yeah,
felt like a very crucial, integral part of that movie. But I don't know, like it didn't feel the same here. It felt very different. To me, it felt like when I was watching the 90s Spider-Man animated cartoon, and he would have episodes where he would team up with the X-Men, or team up with
yeah,
Iron Man to take down Venom and Carnage, or like you'd see the appearance of Daredevil with Kingpin and stuff like that. So like again, it just feels like a comic book. It feels like a Spider-Man story. This is the most Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man has felt like a Spider-Man in in this universe,
yeah. And
and
another thing that was
that's
really
just
well
great.
done is in that little montage is you feel him, you see him being Spider-Man, and he is clearly, like, he's come into his own. He's good.
Hmm.
He's good at this now.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
he is an experienced veteran Spider-Man at this
yeah,
point. A lot
yeah.
like the Insomniac games as well. Another thing that ties into what you said about comic book kind of feel, and seeing that on the screen, is just the way that he's always in costume pretty much through most of
Hmm.
this, and he's got
Hmm.
the mask on. So like he'll be sitting in an office chair having a conversation. It's
Yeah.
so funny. It's so right from the comics, where it looks hilarious, and it's
Hmm.
perfect, man. He's sitting
Yeah.
there having a full conversation. He's in an office chair. He's lounging around on, like, behind a desk. It's just, yeah, I loved every bit of that.
No, no,
Like, yeah,
it's great because I think the most human interaction he has is just one character, but it's like an interaction as Spider-Man, not as Peter.
yeah,
And yeah, no, they did such a great job, not only with this plot. Uh, I didn't think it was too big of a swerve, but I do like what they did overall. I thought they set up a lot, not only for future Spider-Man um, adaptations, but also for other projects within the
yes,
MCU to
yeah.
come. So I thought it was really good. I can't wait to get into it and just dissect it all, man.
Yeah. So before we go to full spoilers, this will be a slight spoiler. I say slight because this is in every trailer. So this shouldn't really be a spoiler. I think all of you if you're going in completely blind, like you've heard no news about this and not seen a single trailer, then
Mhm.
okay, I'm literally slight spoiler, and it's
Yeah, if
so
you haven't
yeah,
you haven't
not the
digested any
name of like
content,
the character Sadie Sink is playing or anything like that. We're gonna save all that stuff.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is from every trailer. This is that the fact that the again, slight spoiler, the Punisher is in this,
yes,
of course,
yes,
and I loved every bit of that, dude. Their chemistry is great. It went just like every single Spider-Man Punisher meet up, team up, fight in the comics where they're just constantly like bickering and just
yeah,
it was great chemistry. Yeah,
yeah.
just awesome. John Bernthal just does that so well. He fit so perfectly with Tom Holland in their sort of like kind of drive each other crazy sort of like
Mhm.
antagonism slash partners and like
Yeah,
yeah
yeah. No, honestly, like I don't know how well versed you are in this because I don't think we've ever talked about it, but it very much felt like a Goku Vegeta dynamic, like in
yeah
Dragon Ball Z. For those of you guys that are Dragon Ball Z fans, where like Frank is more of the guy that's willing to take that final blow, and it's more of a straight shooter and like sorry. I'm trying to think what like straight man. He's the straight
yeah
man,
yeah
and then
yeah
Peter's more of a like the moral high ground kind of guy.
Yeah, but also like hilarious because the Punisher is such a he's a freaking serial killer, man. And like Peter is out here, trying to constantly stop him from being a serial killer, and that's always funny. They have great. Oh, you know what? Another thing I really well, two things. One note, just a funny note because we did cover Punisher One Last Kill as one of our other comic book media reviews, and this has like no relation to the Punisher we see in
No,
One Last Kill whatsoever. Doesn't
no,
even
no.
seem like the same character.
Unless it's another like time skip where it's like time has drastically passed
Yeah,
from when that whole thing took place.
which I
I
think
mean,
it has. But it's still funny that they chose to do that as kind of because that only came out, 2 months ago. So they
yeah,
essentially chose to make that property as a sort of like lead in introduction, not lead into the movie, but an introduction to the Punisher you're going to meet.
yes,
And
yes.
it's not it's not really the Punisher we meet at all in Spider-Man. So I
But
thought
the
that was
one we
funny.
got in Spider Man, I thought was very good.
This was great. Yeah, he was great. He was more like the later season versions of the Punisher from the
Like season
Daredevil.
two, like
No,
season.
from
Oh, from
Daredevil.
Daredevil. From
Yeah.
Daredevil. Got it. Got it.
So like those versions of not the first appearance of Daredevil or of Punisher in Daredevil, but
Mhm.
the times he's appeared since then. It's
Yeah,
very
makes
reminiscent.
sense. Makes
Yeah,
sense. No,
and
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 it's
and
it's
and
great.
on the current Disney Plus incarnation of Born Again.
Right.
But I do want to say another thing I really loved about that is that so Punisher shows up just like in the scene in the trailer, and they already have had a history and they
Mhm.
have backstory and they don't waste any of our freaking time by going through this whole like who is this guy and introducing him and actually like this is what happened and really this is Frank Castle and his children died and this blah 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 blah. We get none of that. It's in media res, like you pick
Yeah.
up in the middle of their story, just like in the comics when someone shows up. You don't
Mhm.
recap everything. It's like this is the Punisher through the dialogue. This is what I love. One of my biggest nitpicks in movies is there's the cardinal rule everybody always talks about in filmmaking, television, movie making is show don't tell. I think we've talked about
Right.
that before. And so many things, despite this being like supposedly one of the like bedrock, foundational aphorisms of movie making. It seems like nobody ever gets that. And the Marvel movies in particular and TV
Mhm.
shows, all they do is tell, don't show. They just tell. They just tell and tell and tell. And they don't show you anything. They just keep telling you what happened and what should be and
Mhm.
what's going on and who wants what, who this person is, why they're this way. This one, none of that. It's in its natural dialogue between Spidey and Punisher in the
Mhm.
sequence bickering that you figure out kind of, but not totally because again it's natural. So they don't go like, do you remember the time when we were doing this and actually then I did that? No, they talk about it like real people do, where
Yeah.
they're like, hey, you remember that time? You owe me for that time. That sort of stuff.
Oh yes. No, dude. The banter was freaking hilarious because they just felt like two straight up New Yorkers just going back and forth.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. It was fantastic. And you're right. They did a really good job of establishing their history and their dynamic and their relationship
Through
without
their
actually
interaction. Yeah.
just through the interaction itself. You can just kind of like pick up on the chemistry.
Right.
There's a scene later on in the movie where it's just like it's almost like alluding to that, but for a different dynamic.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's great. Again, and you pick up. They don't over explain it. It's not weird like again in many things where two people are talking about something they went through together and they recap everything that happened, which like people never do. Like you don't tell the person who you have a history with. You don't recap your history for them, right? That's just not how. That's not natural. That's always pulls me out of a TV show or a
Yeah,
movie.
definitely. No, and that's listen. We all know who Punisher is.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know, I don't think you need to know who Punisher is to really enjoy this film. I
There's
think you can,
obvious story cues to pick up on who he is within the movie. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So
In
just
fact, they get
just
to a point
uh,
where there's a point at which I think they're about to explain his backstory because they like kind of stumble upon it and then they don't do it, which I freaking loved. They just move right on. He's just like, you don't talk about that. He just moves right on. It's great.
yes, they did a really good job of that. I love that. I really did. Like you, I thought they were gonna start unpacking and just
Yeah.
like spend a portion of the film like unpacking things
And
that we.
waste our time,
Yeah,
honestly.
that not only have we unpacked in Daredevil, we unpacked it in Punisher, and then One Last Kill. So we've unpacked that 3 times. We don't need to unpack it a fourth time.
Yeah, yeah. It's plenty unpacked. It's unpacked in all kinds of, and again, much like a comic, it's like you want to know more about that, go back and see that thing. It
Yeah,
has no bearing
exactly.
on this story. All you need to know is clearly there's something there. It doesn't have any bearing on this story. We're gonna move on with this story.
It's one of the things that I like that the MCU did when they introduced Tom Holland Spider-Man into the MCU.
Yeah, in
They
Civil
just
War.
didn't, yeah, in Civil War and then also in Homecoming, they just didn't do the origin story. They didn't
Right.
do the Uncle Ben scene. To this
Yeah.
day, we don't even know what happened to Uncle Ben.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I don't think we even know what he looked like or anything.
Honestly,
So
no one's ever been cast as Uncle Ben in the universe. But it's like we saw 2 films and multiple like media,
yeah.
like just already hashing that over. Like you're a Spider-Man fan, you know the story. You know, great power comes great responsibility. We don't need to know
And
the
then they added
origin.
their own twist to it in No Way Home, which I
Yeah,
rather
yeah,
enjoyed.
yeah, and they
Yeah.
did, and
Yeah.
honestly, that's fantastic. So, yeah, more of that here
Yes.
With Frank and
Yes.
the Punisher. So
So I think
good stuff.
unless you've got anything else, I think I'm ready to move into spoilers. You got anything you want to cover for the I think I will say there are cool things that this sets up for
Hmm.
the larger MCU
Yes,
and just sets some stuff in motion. Nothing huge yet, alluding to things that could be huge, but no like Infinity Gauntlet type of stuff, right? It's
right,
more
right.
like, hey, this is cool. We're probably going to come back to this sort of stuff.
Exactly. Honestly, I think the biggest thing that because I don't want to spend time on it during the actual review is that I'm just glad that we finally got the payoff of Michael Mando playing Scorpion in the Scorpion suit. Granted,
Yeah,
we didn't
dude.
get his origin of how he got his suit and his
Which
tech
is
and
even
stuff.
better. Yeah, who cares?
Like
He's Scorpion. Yeah.
honestly, at this point, it's like 2 movies after his debut. I don't care. I know he's Scorpion. We all know
Yeah.
he's Scorpion.
He had the
Just give
Scorpion
him.
tattoo in prison. You've seen him repeatedly. He's Scorpion. We got it. It's
Yeah,
cool.
we get it. We
Yeah.
get it.
He's
Just
got the
throw
suit.
him in there.
He
Just
got
throw
it
him in there.
somehow. Don't worry about it.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I kind of hope that that's how they introduce new villains going forward. Is like even if we haven't seen them show up prior, like for
We
instance,
don't need to see Sandman fall into the pit and then be turned into Sandman, right? We can
right,
just
right.
have him.
We
Yeah.
already saw it in Spider-Man 3. Or like Donald Glover's if he actually becomes the Prowler, we already saw him in Homecoming. Just
Yeah.
have him show up and then whenever he gets
Have him be
removed,
prowling, man. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
just have him be Prowler.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how we introduce Miles into this universe. Because I think at some point at the end of this next trilogy, because we will be getting another trilogy with Tom Holland,
Yeah.
I think we will be getting like the teases of Miles, at least in
Yeah. So
that
I think
final
so, yeah,
trilogy.
we're definitely at some point, maybe even sooner. We'll see. Ready to move into spoilers?
Yeah, yeah. So
All
guys,
right.
this the point where if you don't want any spoilers, go watch the movie, go get all that, and then come back here. All right.
The cat is here. She's here to let you know it's time. It's time for you to go if you don't want to be spoiled. It's
Yeah.
spoiler time. So yeah, spoiler alert. All right, guys. Cool. What's up, Steak? That was awesome. She's not having this podcast though.
No, she's not about it.
Maybe she doesn't want the spoilers. Actually,
maybe she doesn't.
Like, she has it. I gotta admit, I didn't take her with me to see the movie yesterday.
Okay. So she's not trying to find out.
She doesn't want me to talk about these spoilers.
All right. Well, I mean, spoiler alert, Mystique.
Yeah.
There's some X-Men stuff in here.
Spoiler alert. Oh. All right, that's a reference to an old podcast. All right, she is awesome. This is wonderful media here. But let's pick this up.
Yes.
If Mystique's gonna let me, I think this is probably better video content. Sorry for our audio listeners, it's not much, but for the YouTube, this is probably better content than our show.
Yeah. Mystique just being a nuisance.
She's claimed my shoulder as I try. Let's see if I can get through this here.
Yeah, she just needed a shoulder to lean on.
She did. Here, come on, cat. Come, cat. So we basically start right in with the scene from most of the trailers that starts off where Spidey's, on top of it's like a girder on like a construction skyscraper or something. Yeah. And he's, watching MJ and Ned is it like TikTok basically, I guess?
Like either like TikTok or like
Snapchat
IG Live, maybe something like that. Maybe a Snapchat.
Basically, yeah, he's watching their story. They're going live, and Ned's posting stuff, and Peter is sad and missing them. We have the sounds of New York coming through also. But yeah, so he, that's when we go right in from there. He picks up, the intro. He dives off the thing just like you see, and we go into the montage that we talked about earlier. Mm-hmm. We won't cover it too much more unless you think of something else to add. But it's
cool.
I
thought it was just a really cool montage.
Yeah, and again, you see him in several fights, taking down bad guys, stopping crimes, taking on supervillains, taking on the Hand, all kinds of stuff. And they're even recapping like, and he did this, and Spider-Man did this, and he kept us safe from this, and ninjas, and all of that stuff. And in all those, there's like a little montage sequence of him doing all of that. They have a cool slow motion, like slow down action scene, which again is like a comic cover. Pretty much all those were comic covers when they do that. And yeah, you see, we talked about it, but you see some of his battles with Scorpion, with Tarantula, with Tombstone, the recreation of Amazing Fantasy 15 comes off. He's having this whole city loves him, even the cops, even Damage Control, who have been a pretty big antagonist.
So, listen. I from the beginning, I knew there's like, I don't trust Damage Control.
I mean, not only have we seen the other Spider-Man movie, like No Way Home, where they were like primarily a pain in the ass, but we've seen Wonder Man and like other properties that Damage Control has.
Yeah, and Miss Marvel, they're
huge.
They were using the Stark drones to like hunt down Kamala Khan,
and children, other teenagers,
exactly,
like through a school, they were.
So we already knew, like, if you weren't watching all those other like properties, you don't know that much that Damage Control has gotten this far right. But no. I knew going into it, like, something made me feel like whoever was the antagonist isn't the true antagonist, and we're gonna get that swerve at the end. Yeah, unfortunately, because I've seen that in so much Spider-Man media.
Well, I mean, honestly, like, it was not only obvious to the audience, I think it would be obvious in terms of the Damage Control part of it anyway, to anybody in that New York, and anyone who's had dealings with Damage Control, except for Spider-Man, and this is how it's true to the comics, because he is a naive and gullible fool. Poor Peter.
Unfortunately,
constantly being able to be taken advantage of and lied to and hoodwinked, and he's hoodwinked yet again. So Damage Control even loves him, and he loves, he loves being loved by them. I don't know if he loves them, but he loves the fact that everybody loves him. And as part of the cops loving him is there's now a police, I don't know if they're a lieutenant, I guess, who he interacts with regularly. He like coordinates with her. And I remember thinking, right off the bat, I forget, my friend who was with me in the movie was like, I forget what character he thought she was, but I was like, she could be Jean DeWolf. But we don't get her name yet. So we will keep that off. But it's Tina from The Bear. so which is
Yes.
awesome. It's great to see her. So I did finally figure out that there was a new season of The Bear, and I did watch it. So that
Okay,
was cool.
nice, nice.
But yeah, Tina is there. Not Tina in this, of course. And
No.
yeah, she's coordinating with Spider-Man, both in person. You
Hmm.
know, they talk. They talk about what's coming up next, investigations, and then they have each other's phone number. You know,
Yeah,
I guess he's got like a private number or something. He gives her a call and talks to her. And
and that's the only real human contact that he really has, and it's as
yes,
Spider-Man. And
yes, because he has nobody from his previous life after No Way
no,
Home.
no, no. I think the only person that talks to him, like not even the person, the only other conversations he has is with his AI that he
The
developed, Evie.
leftover, yeah, the AI,
Evie.
yeah. So yeah, that is it's a little sad, but he hasn't really, he's been fully Spider-Man, hasn't really delved into
Hmm.
making any new friends or anything. One thing about Damage Control, I don't remember seeing any of the familiar Damage Control faces we've
No, that's
seen.
true. That's true. Everybody was a brand new face, new staff.
I
Maybe
think
they
I,
had
I wonder
turnover.
if that was because they didn't want to tip off the fact that Damage Control is not any different than we've ever seen them, and
Yeah,
that
but
by
also
having the other people we've seen in other shows be
yes, that
skeevy.
could be the case. I also do believe that they just wanted to introduce these new casts because I think I don't know how far you want to jump ahead, but I have my predictions as to why
Well, we
they.
can when we come across those, we
Yeah,
can remind
yeah,
me and we'll cover them.
for
But
sure.
yeah, this is barely the beginning, so let's move right off of the sequence and all of that of the montage. It goes
Hmm.
right into like the active sequence of him from the trailer. There's a runaway armored, essentially a tank, but
Yeah,
like
it is it's a tank.
they call it a tank, but it's not quite a tank, but it's like a tank. It's
Right,
tankish. We'll stick with
tankish.
tank. We'll
Yeah.
stick with tank.
All right.
And yeah, it's him swinging in and trying to like stop it, and then getting the webs on it, pulling it away from that school bus, and all of that. And of course, right into that comes Punisher. Just segues right into the scene seamlessly as Spidey like gets flipped off the back of this truck. Punisher comes and hits him with his man because clearly they have some history, and Frank knows that Spider-Man can take some damage, so he's not
Yeah.
worried. He's
Yeah.
not worried about hitting him full on with this van, which is concerning but still funny. Yeah.
No, no. He actually shoots that Peter twice.
Yeah, it's great. They have their little they have a little back and forth, their banter again. Peter's Spider-Man is like, like, hey man, you get out of here, Frank. You gotta let me stop this thing. And basically, you can't shoot your way out of everything type of stuff. And Frank's like, oh yeah, pulls out a gun. Spidey webs it, pulls out another one. It's great. So yeah, shoots him again. So that's all fun times. They allude to the history where Spider-Man's like, hey, you owe me for, what was it that they had history in?
Staten Island.
Staten Island. Something happened
Ah,
in Staten Island, and yeah, it's or maybe it'll be a cool one shot they'll release or something, or maybe they'll
maybe.
never release it, and I'm fine with that too. It's great.
I hope they
Um,
don't.
yeah, actually,
Let the
keep it like a vague thing in their
yeah,
backstory,
fan
right?
speculation. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it. No, and then it's funny too because he's just like gotta deal with Frank now. It's more of a nuisance.
like
Like
this freaking guy. Yeah,
this guy. It's more like just the younger like a sibling just dealing with another sibling.
yeah.
That's
He's
what it
just
felt like to
he
me.
literally is like, oh, this freaking guy. Like yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and you would think that like I do like that he does treat him differently because obviously we know Punisher is not afraid to take a life,
Yeah,
especially of like because that's his form of like of like justice, and Spider-Man obviously is on the opposite side. They have their own different morals and stuff like that, but he's able to acknowledge that like this is still a good guy. He just doesn't. I just don't agree in the way that he handles his
he's a
business.
troubled guy, and yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
But yeah, no, it's and of course Spider-Man would try to save everyone,
yeah.
even the
He
murderers.
he
So
always does. He always
yeah.
does. And
So yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna segue that into like, yeah, he does the scene you've seen from the first trailer where he kicks Frank right out the van, webs him up, tells him, "Go home, Frank." Goes after the tank, which eventually crashes into damage control.
Yes.
And yeah, um, when you get to the tank, which is now crashed, and top pops open, it's some old lady in it. Again,
Hmm.
this is from the trailers as well.
Hmm.
Clearly, she's being controlled. She looks at Spidey and smiles, and Spidey seems to recognize that she's being controlled and can actually see the
Yes.
fact that whoever was in control of her jumps from her to the next person and he sees them jump from here to there to there.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like he's actually able to follow the jumping
Yeah,
of like the possessed person to person,
yeah.
which
My personal headcanon is that's the spider sense, like allowing him to track that.
yes, no, no,
Yeah.
100%.
In fact, I think it's pretty like clearly stated, not stated, but like implied.
Well, I obviously they've never fully unpacked Tom Holland's version of
Peter Tingle.
Spider-Man's Peter Tingle.
Oh,
Never
yeah,
fully unpacked it. We saw like what it could do, obviously, in No Way Home, where he gets taken out of his body, and then the
right.
Spider Sense is still like dodging Doctor Strange, and it's just I think it's just like it's the Spider Sense able to tell him that the danger's here. Okay, the danger's here now.
Yeah,
The danger's
yeah,
there. So like the Spider Sense is going further and further, and that's how he's able to track it.
yeah,
Uh, I think it's very interesting. It's something that they haven't really tackled on too much in the previous Spider-Man films, like not just in Tom's versions, but also in Andrew and Toby's, where they haven't fully unpacked the full extent potential of a Spider Sense for Spider-Man. And I really, really love that aspect. And we see even like a better, like enhanced version, like like later on in the film as well. So
right.
I thought that was really cool, and I love that aspect that Spider-Man really was almost like the ideal guy to be the one to try to stop this
Yeah,
threat
because he can sense it. So,
because
which
he
is
can sense it, and
yeah.
no one else could.
So basically, I'm not going to go through every little bit of this movie. I'll try to cover the big things, interesting things. Let's
Hmm.
just it's suffice it to say the jumper escapes the body snatcher. They get a control of the helicopter as they jump through person to person through like a damage control person. They
Hmm.
get away. Spidey is freaked out. He is yeah, clearly like going like, whoa, what just happened? What is this?
Hmm.
Talks to the cop. I think about now we find out it's Jean DeWolf. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think at that point we
which
know
is the
for
point at which I went, oh, because I really like her. And if you know Jean DeWolf from the comics, that's not a great story. That's a sad story. So,
yeah.
but yeah, so I was kind of bummed that she was Jean DeWolf. Although that's Jean's a cool character in
She is, and
the
but
comics also.
but what I did like is that it was a really good dynamic between her character,
It's
uh,
so
and
great.
Spider
She's like
Man.
almost like a protective momish figure of him, but like
She
yeah,
is, but also I don't I might just like be like too on the nose with it, but it really just felt like Commissioner Gordon Batman relationship.
yeah, very
Yeah,
much, yeah. Um, which again is very cool. It is pretty much exactly that relationship
yeah,
for Spidey as his through line to the cops and staying on their good side and being tagged into investigations and
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
So she's concerned about him. She asks about, are you getting enough rest? These headaches of yours. He's like, tweaking out about this body snatcher, and that's a little, clues you into their genuine kind of concern for each other, which is nice, and clues you in that Spidey's going through something. He's been having
Yeah,
headaches. She says like he's been clearly exhausted. He needs to take a break, but you see him back at his apartment eventually. There's some cool little funny hijinks and whatnot with neighbors, but basically you find out Spider-Man Peter has picked an apartment that has nobody else near it. Like nobody else
yeah,
wants to go near it. They're not on that floor. Nobody wanted that apartment. It's just like a bare
like an
bones sort of,
addict.
yeah, bare bones loft attic workspace area. And
Hmm.
he has set up all of his tech. He set up his 3D printer and his Spider-Man, his web fluid gear, and all of his, his suit repair stuff. And it is his computers. Frankly, looks like my workstation here right now. um, but yeah, he's alone. This is all he does
Yeah,
ever
he's a
since the end of
hermit.
no. Yeah, since the end of No Way Home, this is who he is. He doesn't have any other life and or any other friends. And like you said, it's just Gene DeWolf is his only real human connection.
Yes, honestly, it really truly is. And the only other thing he like you said, he just stalks Ned and Ned's stories and just like try to get updates and watch from afar. And that's another way that they establish the time jump as well. Is that like, oh, it's Ned doing his like lives, his stories and stuff, talking about first year, second year, fourth year, graduation, all this stuff, and that's how he's able to keep up with them. But aside from that, he doesn't really have any human interaction. He does pay May's grave,
Right. He
the
regularly picks up flowers and takes them to
regular
her.
picks of
Yeah.
flowers and takes it to her, and that's like a common like thing that keeps happening throughout the movie as well. And it it's not
Kind of
only a
reminiscent of
Spider-Man,
Frank. Kind of reminiscent of Frank in that way,
very
right?
reminiscent of Frank, and that's why I felt like Frank was a perfect character in here because like every single character, and we'll talk about them as they're each introduced in this film, but each individual character I felt like told a story of what Spider-Man's going through currently,
Yeah.
and someone that is like almost like a mirror of what that feeling is,
Yeah,
what that
definitely.
dynamic
There's
is.
definitely a theme going through this. Yeah.
So that's kind of what helps with the whole film. And I honestly like the film's overarching story. Not only is this a Spider-Man film, I thought this was a very strong film, like addressing mental health
Yeah.
and the importance of having human
Of
relationships.
connections. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Relationships,
the
connections. Yeah.
importance of friends and family and community. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
I love that honestly. Like it hit close to home, honestly.
Yeah, no, it was very cool. Several emotional, connection moments there that are nice. But let's pick this back up so we can get to those moments. And so basically, he's back in this apartment. You see that he still has a note that he originally wrote MJ at the end of No Way Home, and then decided not to read to her in that
Hmm.
coffee shop. He keeps it in the coffee cup that he wound up getting from her instead, and kind of goes over it from time to time. He's working on his suit, and you can see his hand or wrist is also in pain. It kind of stings him. It's just like, ah. So you can clearly see, in addition to like Gene DeWolf alluding to it,
Hmm.
um, you can see him also going through it physically. And yeah, so they go on. They do coordinate over the phone. You see them have a phone call. This is
Hmm.
cool. She asks him again about getting rest, and she's like, "What do you know about me? You don't even know," because she's with her kids on the train. She's like, and he hears her tell his kid. I thought this was really cute and funny. He hears her tell her kid, because her kid keeps asking her like, or her son, because her son and
Yeah.
daughter are both there, like, "Oh, where did you see my calculator? My calculator." She's like, "No, I don't know, puppy, not right now." And and so she's like, "Do you even know my kid's name?" And he's like, "I know your son is named Poppy," which was really funny.
Yes.
I thought that was hilarious.
No, it's one of the few times where he technically Spider-Man, but that's the first time like the few times you see Peter.
Yeah, yeah,
It's which is great to see, and it also just alluded to like how deep he's gotten into it. Like he dived headfirst into Spider-Man and just completely like shut Peter
yep.
Parker out. So like to see those little moments throughout the film, especially like talking to Jean DeWolf, like I very much enjoyed it. They have a very great chemistry and dynamic.
Yeah, they do. They're great, and she's a great actress. I'm glad she got this.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
glad she got this role. Um, So let's go. I believe it is about at this point that he says he might know somebody who can get him information about the sort of mind
Yes.
control, right?
Yes, because um actually, not necessarily just yet. I think it's at this point where
Yeah, just FYI, guys. Normally, I do a lot of notes while I'm watching the movie. Obviously, I caught this in theaters last night, so some of
Mhm.
these points may be a little out of order.
Yeah,
It won't
yeah.
affect the storytelling too much. It's just like maybe
No,
the scene actually happened a little earlier, a little later. It shouldn't affect our actual
yeah.
recap. Yeah.
No. It definitely
So
shouldn't. I think when they're coordinated, I think we get another Scorpion sighting before he meets with the person. I think.
possibly. Well, regardless, this is the important part. So I'm going to kind of skip to this, which
Mhm.
is that Peter meets with his person he went to go get information from, who he thinks can tell him more about this mind control, and that turns out to be the new Black Widow, Yelena.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
with
was a
nice surprise. Which, by the way, we did not. I don't think anybody had that
I
spoiled.
think I think I think I apparently it was spoiled.
Oh, interesting.
It was
I hadn't come across it.
like
Luckily.
yeah, I didn't either, so it was a pleasant surprise for me. So
Yeah.
I wasn't spoiled for myself, but after watching like videos and other media as well, like covering Spider-Man afterwards, before doing our review, some people were saying that it was like revealed that Yelena was going to be in this film, but I'm glad it wasn't because it was a pleasant surprise. And
Yeah.
honestly,
I think
another
most people in
great
my theater
character.
were like, "Whoa!" Like you heard like an audible gasp and like,
Yes,
yeah,
honestly, another great character, another great addition into
yeah.
this world that they were building.
And Jen, just a tangential, tertiary connection. She's just there for info. Like she doesn't have to be a whole part of the thing. You have to explain who she is or go over her backstory. He
No,
can just go meet her, and it's pretty clear she's someone who would know these sort of things. And he asks her about, getting. There's a fun little sequence because her office is like in this bathhouse sauna, which is
yeah, like the
yeah.
jacuzzi or something like that.
Yeah, which is pretty funny.
Yeah,
She, makes him strip and get into the sauna. He keeps his mask on, and she's like, "Really?" And yeah, it's all good. It's fun stuff.
yeah,
But basically, he asks her, what can you tell me about mind control? And she's like, "You mean like what I went through with the Red Room, stuff like that, right? Like the
hmm
Black Widow Red Room." And he's like, "Yeah," and she's like, "No, this is not going to be that." She's like, "It's more like possession," and
yeah,
yeah, that's when we pick up on the fact that this is, uh, more like a telepath, essentially.
correct.
And then she says something about, I believe the searches had damage control because he's trying to get to the bottom of who could be doing this, and someone was searching for the term VMAX, I guess,
Yes,
right?
the term VMAX comes up a lot throughout this
Yeah,
film.
and I think it starts here.
Yes, this is the first time we hear it, and it comes from Yelena. But again, it also not only did a really good job of like having Yelena be in this film, be a nice little cameo, but she served a certain purpose.
Yeah,
But what I also loved is that it did like multiple things here as well. One of the things that it did was that it established a in continuity reason as to why Spider-Man won't be in big, like universal scale stuff. She was saying like, this is adventure stuff, big
yeah.
potato things.
You do
Spider-Man,
small potatoes.
you do
Yeah,
this is more small potato things. Like
yeah,
come to me with big potato things. And
yeah,
it like also it was like kind of like similar to like what uh Tony Stark would tell him with Iron Man. It's like the Avengers. This is below the Avengers pay grade.
yeah.
So what I liked about that, so if Spider-Man is not in an Avengers film, it's letting you know why he's not there.
Yeah, yeah, and
And in continuity in universe reason why he's not
yeah.
there,
I
but
mean, he is
also
the neighborhood hero, right?
yeah,
So
he's the
I don't know if
neighborhood
that's legible
neighborhood
here,
Spider-Man.
but yeah.
Uh,
So
and again, it's more so a scene where just Peter's just trying to get information and get things going and just kind of go from there.
yeah, and again, very well done in that. We don't need backstory explanation. We can if you don't know her, you can get what is happening here
Yeah,
from the
but
context
and
of,
what's
of the
more
scene.
important about Yelena being there, not only her like helping out like Spider-Man with information about what he's trying to get to, this is now the second person that is worried about
Yeah,
Spider-Man, the person's
yeah.
well-being.
She calls him a sad man. Yeah,
Yeah,
basically,
like
like
sad man. It's like
yeah,
you do you have any friends? Do you have a Mrs. Spider-Man and
yeah,
stuff like that? And again, that's the theme we see that Peter neglects his personal life and it just like work, work, work to the
yep,
point where I think that helps trigger everything else that happens in the film. So I like
yeah,
that dynamic as well. And Yelena also, similar to Frank, it's almost like a reflection of someone that was alone and neglected, like just like alone and isolated, I should say. And then
right,
later, like got her ragtag group of Avengers slash Thunderbolts or whatever, and just like someone that went through that lesson, that trial, kind of like letting him know, it's like, hey, here's some advice for you.
yeah,
Here's my 2 cents. So I
yep,
like that as well. And she was there for a reason. Like again, all these characters are there for a reason.
yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. It ties into the theme all throughout. It's pretty well done in that it's very subtle and not over heavy-handed, I think, and they do a
No,
good job with that. So again, if I'm a little out of order on these scenes, it's not too important. I mean, if Vince, if you want to ever jump in and correct me, feel free. But I think
yeah,
we're going to get the important gist of it because we're going to go back and forth here. So Peter does go to meet with damage control as well. So he goes to their actual facility,
hmm
which is disconcerting because you see them clearly like
they don't trust him.
nefarious. Yeah, they're nefarious, man. Like it's not when he's in that building. It's like this is
It's all shady, man.
off-putting.
It's all
Yeah.
very shady. I don't like it. Um,
But Peter again, gullible Peter Parker. Just Spidey, you can't win for trying, man. He always ends up trusting too much. So yeah, they have him. But again, this is one of those scenes that I love because he does go to meet with. I don't remember this guy's name. So you can correct me if I'm wrong.
hold
But
up.
throughout my yeah.
I can get it for you. Go ahead.
Oh well, no, I was just gonna say throughout my notes, I just refer to him as the damage control douche. So he's just like he's the DC douche. He's the head of this section of damage control or whatever it is. Um, and I love this part because again, this is one of those scenes where it's just ripped out of a comic book because it's Spider-Man in an office talking to somebody, and he's just sitting on an office chair like a normal person, dressed fully in Spider-Man outfit, just like coming around the chair and in his Spider-Man suit, and it just carries on like there's nothing. This is completely normal and fine, and I love that. I love comics. This is what I love about comics, and I'm so glad that the MCU is finally embracing that part of it. They don't feel the need to have somebody say like, "This is silly. Why don't you take off your like?" Shut up, dude. Just let him be Spider-Man in an office chair. This is great. I love it. And essentially, they say they don't know what VMAX is, but they're afraid that the body snatcher at this point
Mhm.
wants the tech that's in the damage control vault that they have in there, including like stuff like Shocker's gauntlets and the stuff that
Yeah,
Spider-Man's taken off of people.
yeah, and they just kind of like did like a little tiny little subtle thing that where like I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but Bill Metzger.
Oh, that's right, Metzger. That's why I don't remember the name. It's kind of generic. Although I'm sorry, Mr. Metzger, one of my favorite high school teachers. It's not that generic. I should have remembered your name. My bad.
Correct. But like they
Shout out to
alluded.
Fenton High School, Mr. Metzger.
Shut up,
Histories,
shut up.
yeah,
But they did allude to that, like they were doing like little like he was saying it's like the purpose was like taking these things and using them for something good, essentially. Like you see them working on Shocker's gauntlet, and that later plays on that you see
and
that
you're very concerned, as I am, at that point when he says using them for something good, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know
I
about
don't
that.
know. No, damage control using something good. We saw the
Well,
last.
what you consider good is going to
Yes,
be it's. I
exactly.
mean, we currently have government administrations that
And
have
there's
that same
another scene
mindset.
later in the film that kind of addresses that and poses that same concern to the audience
Yeah,
and asks that same question. So I very much like that. But like you knew like they threw that in there like and you knew that that might come back around and it
yeah,
did eventually come back around. So
yeah. So yeah, they're concerned that this telepath wants this tech, and Spidey, being gullible that he is, buys that and says, "You don't worry, I'm gonna get him. I'm not gonna let him in here. You
well
can
they
count on
suckered him
Spider-Man."
in. They sweet
Yeah,
talked him. They gaslit him hard
they did.
because they were like obviously you're the only one that can see
They
it.
did. But again, he's such a naive, gullible fool. Poor Spider-Man, man. Come on,
I
dude.
love Spider-Man.
I do.
But
That's why we love him partly.
like they were so they were so disingenuous.
They gave him the con man cell, and
Yeah.
he bought it hook, line, and sinker. They
Yeah.
flattered his ego. They told him he's the only one who can help. They trust him completely. They need his help. Blah blah blah. Yeah,
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 they sold them a used car at sticker price is what they did.
yeah. Pretty easily too.
Yeah.
So anyway, Peter buys all that. Says, "Yeah, you got it, sir. You count on good old Spider-Man,"
Yeah.
and he books on up out of there. Um, Peter is again, from some of this slightly out of order. Not a big deal. This is the main points. Peter will see Ned, his old friend Ned Leeds, at a
Mhm.
bodega picking up some mini kegs,
Mhm.
for a party clearly, and he kind of watches him do all this, and then decides to follow him back to his
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. We crashed the party
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. He's like, he's throwing a party. I'm gonna go. So he just follows him back to the apartment that Ned and MJ share. And
Mhm,
again, this is a cool street sequence as you walk up on the apartment. It just feels like a real place, man. There's a lot of people. They
mhm.
let this be a real vibrant New York street, which I enjoyed. It wasn't just an
Agreed.
empty walk up, eerily empty city street. It was alive, and things were going on around them while he walks up into the apartment.
Mhm,
A small subtle detail, but it's just something that I feel is missing from many movies these days, and
mhm.
particularly the Marvel movies for a long time.
Yeah.
So just my little note there. So yeah, Peter comes in. He had gotten the flowers that he normally takes for Aunt May's
Grave.
gravesite, and he's brought them. He's there with him, so he brings them in. He finds he has a drink. He's kind of like too much for him. He goes back, finds Ned's room, sees that Ned is still a Spider-Man fan. He's got his wall of Spidey photos and like
Mhm,
theories about who he could be, and sees all that. Ned comes out. He's like, I'm not a freak, and he is actually like, this is who I'm following him for. He actually saved my life several times. It's pretty cool.
mhm,
MJ walks in, moment from the trailer. They have that little cute little moment, and he gives her the
mhm.
flowers. They're like, this is a housewarming gift, etc., etc. And then as their party goes on, Peter's just kind of like, he doesn't know anybody, he doesn't really have any social skills anymore
Right.
of any
No.
kind. So he's
No.
just kind of wandering around this party, just creepily staring at MJ. And MJ, meanwhile, catches him a couple times, and
Yeah.
then her has a friend come over and talk to her, and then kisses her. It turns out it's her new boyfriend, and Peter crashes the fuck out.
Oh yes. It's at this point that he has emo hour swinging
Yeah,
through. He just dips and starts doing his emo swings, which fantastic swings. And they were able, they did the way they framed everything. You were able to feel Peter's like sadness and
yeah,
like just kind of like relate to him,
yeah. His
and then how,
anguish. Yeah,
the anguish and how it all just overwhelmed him, going to the point where like when he finally gets home, it just like reached a tipping point.
yeah. You could see him on the entire swing. He's like kind of chaotic. He's just completely, distraught and kind of losing it. And you can see that this is happening to him. He gets back to the apartment, and it just overwhelms him, completely. Eyes are going black, and he just literally crashes out at this point by hitting
Yeah,
the floor and
yeah.
crashing. Then the moment from the trailers again, he wakes up outside in a web cocoon
Hmm.
of his own making, apparently, and he claws his way out of that, but he's like basically in his underwear and just
Yeah.
falls straight to the ground because he doesn't have his web shooters. And then, oh, actually, he does. They're organic webs. They come out of his wrist. Turns out in No Way Home, Toby Maguire bit him and has infected him with his disgusting organic webs. Why must we have the return of the organic webs? They really should only belong to Toby Maguire, and they really shouldn't have belonged to him either. And Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099.
Right.
Otherwise, leave the organic webs out. Unfortunately, we can't. We are stuck with the infected now. Tom Holland, Peter Parker, having
Well,
having these.
I'm glad you kind of like went on your little like spiel there, because I was just about to ask you what were your feelings about Tom Holland
My
getting
feelings were
organic.
ill. No, why? We finally have a Spider-Man who makes his own web fluid and has cartridges. Don't do this. Why must we
Yeah.
return to this disgusting Tobey Maguire organic web
The
shooters?
reason why I didn't like the organic web shooters.
See how stressful this was? Like this just driving me. It's just doing a number on me.
One of the reasons I didn't like it is because I just loved him being a like that. That's one of Spider-Man's weakness, is he runs out of web cartridges.
Yeah, it's one of
So
my favorite ones because it's so stupid and it's so funny and it happens all the time and it's awesome and hilarious every
yeah,
time.
and it's great. And then but then also like you saw that in the film, he's able to do like web bombs, like
Yes. Yeah, cute,
like
cool
web
tricks with his little
grenades.
web
Yeah,
cartridges.
web
Yeah.
grenades and stuff like that.
Set them to explode and
He
throw
can't
them
really do
somewhere.
that. He
Yeah.
can't really do that now. Like like unless he has an
Just
organic
disgusting
web.
body horror stuff that's just coming out of him. Like, yeah, man.
Yeah,
You, you
no, I
know, he
mean,
can do an organic web bomb. Just you don't want to ask too many questions about it.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, eventually by the end of the film, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't hate it
I
as
mean, I'm
much.
cool with it for the storytelling purpose. I don't like the organic web
Like I
shooters,
get
man.
why they did it. I get like why. Okay, so here's my saving grace. Without jumping too far ahead, and maybe I should unpack it towards the end of the film. But obviously, we see that there's a reason why he has the organic webs. His body's changing and stuff like that. His mutation is changing as well. We see that there's levels to this. The reason why, and again, like you cut me off if I'm jumping too far ahead, but the reason why we see this change is because later, well, actually, you know what? Finish off the sequence
Yeah, we'll
events.
save that. We'll save that. I just wanted to
Yeah,
get my little crank complaint off that about the organic webs. I get it as a story point. I'm not really that bothered by it, but I am. They are disgusting, and yeah, and uh, and they do take away from Peter's mechanical web shooters, which I don't like. But that is what's happening. It's part of the movie story. It's fine. It's whatever.
okay, but
Uh,
yeah, continue.
so so not only did I mean he was clearly bitten. I mean I can't have no other explanation for this than that Toby bit him, and because not only do you see these organic web shooters now, as you see him trying to like learn how to use them and come to terms with them, he's turned into Tobey Maguire Spider-Man from Spider-Man 1. He's
Yeah,
clumsy as hell. He's tripping and falling over everything. He's running into walls and billboards and shit. Like yeah, like
that's what
all
happens
right,
when you
man.
use organic web shooters.
Yeah, this is what happens when you get bit by this rabid Spider-Man animal in Tobey Maguire. You should watch out for that. You should have gotten his shots. But
Yeah.
now he's stuck with this. So I believe it is at this point that he is kind of tweaked out about it,
Mhm.
and he goes to ESU to talk to Dr. Banner. Does that happen now, or does he fight the Scorpion first?
I believe he fights the Scorpion
Again, I should say.
first.
Yeah.
The Scorpion again, because he tries to break into the laundry room. He's still in clothes. He
Yeah,
like
yeah.
puts on like some girl's clothes that's also a tenant in the building,
Yeah.
and that's when he finds out something's going on with him because he goes back to his apartment and it's just like webs everywhere. He just like shot webs
Yeah,
everywhere.
that's why I thought in my memory that he went straight to ESU the next day, but I think you're right. Does he does go to fight?
He, I think after that he might go to ESU so that he can talk
Yeah. So
to
let's just
Bruce.
cover this in the order I think it happened. The
Yeah, let's
exact
do
order
that.
doesn't matter too much, but these two scenes kind of happen in back to back in
They're important
one order or another. Yeah.
to be connected with one
Yeah.
another.
Yeah. So he goes to ESU to talk to. Turns out Dr. Banner. Again, we've seen this in the trailers. Banner doesn't know him as Peter. Of course, everybody has forgotten him. But they talk about how Dr. Banner is repressing the Hulk from emerging with like a whole inhibitor on his wrist. Peter tries to get the technical details. Banner becomes impressed with his technical knowledge, obviously, as they speak
Mm-hmm.
about the process. And so then he confides in him a little bit more, tells him more about how it works. They have a conversation outside.
That's
Uh,
that kind of felt like the conversation we first have when we started working at GameStop together, and you were testing out my basketball knowledge. It was like, all right, let me see if this guy really knows what he's talking
You know
about.
what? That's a great comp because I definitely started off slow, like yeah, talk some basketball, I know some basketball, like generally this and that, and then kind of see how far you knew and how much you were. Then I opened up and we talked about it
Yeah,
more in detail.
exactly.
Yeah,
So I was basically Ned leads as he tells Bruce that his name is.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's another cute gag throughout this that even though everybody has forgotten Peter Parker, he doesn't like say his name is Peter Parker whenever he's asked. Like
right.
even at the party, he said his name was Maynard, which is funny.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
and uh, and yeah, he tells Bruce that he's Ned Leeds, and they talk about this, and Peter then has like, well, if you adjust for this, you can kind of make it affect any D and not just the Hulk. You could repress anything.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce is clearly concerned. He stops him. He's like, how do you figure out what's good, what's bad? And if
Mm-hmm.
you make this universal, you could use it against people against their will. You know,
Yes. Yes. And
da-na-na-na. That's all I'll say.
yeah.
But yeah, so I think this inhibitor may come into play later as well. Who knows? In the
Not only
MCU.
in the later in the film, but later in
In the
general.
MCU, yeah,
Ah,
in
man,
general.
yeah, I can't wait to talk about that at the end because goddamn. Okay,
Yeah,
I think after this is where we get back to the shots
yeah.
where
Well,
he's in the apartment.
yes, working. He's got his 3D printer. He's watching disgusting videos of spiders.
Hmm
doing mating or splitting in two. I don't know what the hell that video was, but yeah, he's incorporating this and with
Reproducing
his
asexually, I think it
yeah
was.
he's incorporating this pretty much into his attempts to make his own little mini inhibitor chip,
Hmm.
and he gets one. The AI is helping him out with it, and it's like, okay, this lowers your spider DNA down to this level. Your arachnid DNA falls, and your um, it's not hormones, are they? What do they call them? It's the maybe it is, whatever.
Arachnic genetics, I think,
It's hormones, I think, basically.
something like that. But going back to what I was alluding to earlier, like the thing that the thing that's triggering this is, and it's kind of like revealed by EV, his AI,
His
and
stress. Yeah.
the stress, a very traumatic like thing, event that might have happened, which was triggered by him seeing MJ and Ned, and then seeing MJ kissing another guy.
Yeah.
Very traumatic experience, and then he has not been dealing with that. Also, his isolation. It could be the story that they told in this film, and I think we can finally talk about that
Yeah.
aspect of it, is that because he, like, the arachnic portion of his DNA, his arachnic genetics were greatly overlapping his human genetics, and just like were doubling
Yeah, they were being overstimulated. He was Spider-Man
over.
too much. He doesn't have Aunt May anymore. He has no
Yeah.
other human life outside of
So
Spider-Man.
the spider was taking over the man, so to speak, and you kind of see that, and it's more so, again, the inclusion of Bruce Banner is fantastic because he's a guy that's trying to keep a monster within,
Yeah,
like locked away. And Spider-Man now, Peter at this point is afraid and is trying to control this monster within that we fear. And I mean, they teased it. They teased like maybe he's gonna mutate into something else.
yeah,
Obviously, that was a plot point that they could have told if they wanted to. But like the importance of like him going too heavy into Spider-Man, he was becoming too much of the spider DNA genetics
yep.
versus the human aspect. And right then and there, we know that like he's not okay. So that's kind of like my biggest takeaway that I liked about it.
No, it
And
definitely tied into the themes. I agree with you. Yeah,
I think it very much helped like kind of like foreshadow like how this story was going to end, because is he Spider-Man? Is he Peter? For the last 4 years, he's been nothing but Spider-Man. Everyone's telling him he needs Peter time, and just him trying to find that balance, and him trying to like suppress that spider DNA was like, it's like you can't keep things bubbled underneath the surface. Eventually, something's gonna burst and just
yeah. You need
explode.
balance. You need
You need
balance in life.
and
Yeah,
then that's again another great reason why all these characters were there. Like you have Yelena, you have Punisher, and you have Bruce Banner, Hulk. So it was all great stuff. I think after this, he
yes.
goes to
This.
test out the inhibitor, but
Yeah, the
fails.
inhibitor fails. And he has the Scorpion fight happens at some point here. Basically,
Yeah,
he swings in. Scorpion is attacking something or other, and Spidey swoops in, and he kind of the inhibitor chip fails again,
yeah.
and
So he goes to test out the inhibitor chip. It fails. And then he goes and tries it again, and it keeps failing. I think the second time he
yeah,
tried it, at least on screen, it failed. And then that's it, or
it like
he
overheated. It works
it
at first,
overheated.
and then it overheats. Yeah,
It overheated, and then that was the thing that was happening. And then we saw like all his senses overloading hundred
yeah,
percent.
he gets kind of like the Superman powers almost, where he's hearing and seeing too much.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very
yeah,
Man of Steel
yeah,
a little bit.
100%.
So he does then actually go to fight Scorpion, regardless of the actual exact placement of this scene. What happens is more important. Is that
Hmm.
it's nighttime. He goes to fight Scorpion. It's on the streets in New York. He's fighting Scorpion, and this is when Scorpion looks at him and says, "You think I'm Scorpion?" So it's the telepath clearly controlling
Hmm. Yeah.
Spider-Man, and
Uh,
Spidey. gets overwhelmed. The inhibitor chip gives out again, and he gets overwhelmed by his arachnid hormonal changes and senses, and just goes buck wild. He kind of goes overboard on Scorpion and just smashes him into a police car, injuring the cop in the process.
Yeah,
He's driving.
which
Yeah.
scenes we saw in trailers already, which is
Yes.
why people thought it might have been the Venom symbiotes because he
Right.
saw the black eyes. That was one of the visual cues that they gave you in the film was like blood, like pitch black eyes.
Yeah, his eyes would just go completely black. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I honestly like that because it let us know that he wasn't able to not only tell that that was the telepath and not Scorpion itself, but then
Right.
also the way he conducted himself and then
Yeah.
his reaction afterwards. They're
Yeah.
just like snapping and having that clarity of like, what? Oh my god, what did I do? Are they okay? He
Yeah.
just comes back to like
Yeah, and
regular
again,
Peter.
Jean DeWolf is on the scene after Peter has more than subdued Scorpion, and she's like, "Hey, man, you got to get a hold of yourself. You got to get control of yourself. This is, you can't, something's going on with you. You can't, let this continue,
Yeah.
etc." This is why I'm not entirely certain if this happened before ESU or after, but regardless, both of these scenes are important. And yeah,
Mhm.
he does go overboard in subduing Scorpion, scaring himself, the cops, and his ally Jean DeWolf.
Mhm.
Um, so she's concerned. Well, Peter back at his apartment, he's been trying out this chip and trying to manage it, and he's got to deal with this uh, backlash or whatever it is, like what his consequences of his actions. And
Mhm.
anyway, he goes out onto the street, and he's outside, and random people are coming up to him, and it turns out it is the telepath. And the
Yes.
telepath is telling him, "Hey, Peter," like as Peter Parker. He's on the street as Peter Parker, and the
Mhm.
telepath now knows he's him. So as the telepath is basically taunting him, and that you can't even sense me anymore. You don't even know when I'm jumping in people. He doesn't see the jump. He just sees people randomly saying things
Right.
to him, and it's the telepath and telling him he's Peter, and then telling him, "Oh, found your note, by the way. You're incredibly easy to track. Found your note. Who's this MJ girl?" And he looks back, activates uh, his computer monitoring at home and sees that, this telepath is in his
Yeah.
apartment. It's
There's a
yeah,
hooded figure in his apartment
yeah,
going through all his information. She reveals that her friend like posted their address, so she knows where MJ lives.
yep. Ned was kind enough to post where they moved to, and so while she is in his apartment,
Mhm.
we now learn the telepath is a woman, and she is also controlling these people on the street, talking to
Mhm.
him at the same
Yeah.
time, and telling him, "Well, I'm going to keep jumping into people, and you're going to have to, you got to beat me to their apartment. I'm going to go get them."
Yeah.
And chase sequence ensues, which is very good. Again, Spidey not totally in control of these organic webs or his newfound powers, and you
Mhm.
see a lot of this where he's swinging wildly trying to get to MJ's and just crashing into things and birds and pigeons and into a wedding party where the telepath is still staying right with him or ahead of him, and he's
Almost like taunting him,
oh,
like
definitely taunting him the entire
it's
way.
it's a straight up cat and mouse
Yep,
situation.
very cool chase sequence. Liked it a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, but here's the thing. Again, alluding to the organic webs and why the web shooters are better. Him using his AI and Eevee again, very similar to the Insomniac Spider-Man PlayStation games, where he's able to use his technology and is able to determine the distance of each jump and how
yeah, he's having his AI track the people that are clearly show these physical
Mhm.
anomalies, they call
Yes.
them, as they get taken over, and by tracking those, seeing the distance at which they are being taken over from the previous person. So he's, like you said, tracking the distances that this telepath is able to cover and jumping from person to person. And he gets basically a distance of like max distance of like 33 feet,
Mhm.
roughly.
Yeah.
33, I believe it was, right? Yeah. So comes up with a very smart option as the telepath jumps into a helicopter pilot, takes off in a helicopter. Spidey manages to trap this helicopter and webs it up over this crane and well further than 33 feet from anybody else.
Yes. Yes.
So smart Peter, even when he's gullible or naive or taken by surprise. He still is a smart
He's
dude.
very resourceful.
Yeah, and so he comes up with this cool trick. Tells them, I know your secret. You can't jump more than 33 feet. You're way more than 33 feet away from anybody, and he's gonna win the race to MJ. He gets there, MJ's apartment. Again, this is in at least one, if not both, trailers, where he just comes in. He's like, as Spider-Man, obviously,
Mhm.
and is like, "Hey, you gotta come with me right now. So you're in danger. You gotta go." And she basically is like, "Fine," like, all
Yeah,
right.
she puts like a half-hearted fight, but eventually she's like, "All right, I believe you."
Yeah, and goes off with him. He takes her, through the city. They stop elsewhere as he's, freaking out, trying to know where to go. And this is when MJ's like, you know what? We knew each other, didn't we? And this sort of like, how come you keep saving me? We knew each other. Blah blah blah. Basically, getting Spidey to admit that he knows her, but he won't do it. She walks up to him, takes his mask half off, and kisses him. And
Mhm.
obviously, this is delightful. He kisses her back and hugs. He's missed her so much. I missed you so much.
He
All
just
of this.
breaks
Love you.
down and like
Yeah,
lets out all the emotions that he's been holding in this entire time,
yeah,
and you get like this very sweet moment where you're just like the kiss, like it broke the spell. Like she remembered, she did exactly what she said at the conclusion of No Way Home.
yeah,
If you don't tell me, I'm gonna figure it out.
yeah.
You know?
And relief. She knows who he is. But then as they're hugging, she's like, "Yeah, doesn't that hug her tightly? Like you missed that, don't you? You wish like you could hug her this tightly, and doesn't it feel good?" And obviously, this is not MJ as MJ. It is the telepath in control
Yes.
of MJ. The telepath didn't need to use that helicopter pilot. They ditched them and obviously jumped their way to MJ elsewhere.
Yeah. It's not explained how she got to MJ.
But
It's
at some
just
point, yeah, she
at
was
some
able
point
to
she was able to
intercept.
get to MJ at some point, and like just like so evil, man. Like that's like gut wrenching.
Yeah,
Like especially when she hits the lines where she's like, you know what's? There's not a single thought about you in here.
yeah, in here, yeah. She's because
Yeah,
she's in her head, yeah.
yeah. And it's like, oh man. And
And
then
he even
again,
tells her, he's like, if you ever loved anyone, you know how cruel this is, what you're doing, like right
right?
now. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
she like basically steps MJ's body back to the ledge and says, well, just save her then, and flips off the edge. Basically, well, just falls off the edge, doesn't even
Right.
flip.
Right.
And Spidey, freaks out. You get a little flashback to
Well,
Gwen.
actually, before that, she's when she starts to like do this whole thing, you see Peter lose control again, and his
Right,
eyes go all black, and
right.
he just like
That's right. He's like, let her go. Yeah,
let her go. He like grabs her almost. I don't know if by like the collar or by the neck, but just like even though you're talking to Jean Grey, this is still MJ's body, and it
yeah,
was a very disturbing scene. I was like, holy shit, is he gonna hurt MJ? And then
yeah,
he kind of like snaps out of it just slightly, or like maybe it's at that point that she just dives off. I can't
yeah.
recall exactly, but that's when he snaps out of it. He goes and tries to dive off
No,
and save
she's
her.
and Jean's just mocking him.
Yeah,
Sorry, the telepath is just mocking him throughout. Yeah, and just says, look at you. You can't tell who I am. You couldn't tell it was me. All of this, like you can't even control yourself, et cetera, et cetera. And kind of falls off the edge. Peter goes to grab her, and different people are being controlled by the telepath. They're coming up, and Peter's Spider-Man is freaking out and just finally gives up. He's like, please, please, just I give up. I give up. Just don't hurt. Just let her go. Leave her alone. You know. And as he says that, turns out the telepath was there on site. She's in the back of a car of one of the people she controls. Walks up and he's like, basically, I can get to her whenever. You can do nothing about it. And then gets back in the car, drives it off, and he sees in the back seat that there is a woman, and he snaps a little picture of this
yeah,
woman
yeah,
with his goggles, with his
yeah,
AI
yeah.
built in. So from here, he gets MJ back up, and because he was trying to get her to safety before this happened, and he does get her to what he thinks is safe. Several booby traps in this like kind of dock warehouse area, and turns out he took her to Frank Castle. This is the Punisher's lair and hideout, which is awesome. So yeah, just in case we had some technical difficulties, in case we lost some of that, as the telepath gets the person she was controlling to drive her away, he sees her sitting in the backseat of this car that's being driven away, and he snaps a picture with his AI goggle lenses. And yeah, gets he at least has a picture of this person, a slight, headshot to look up. Then he takes MJ where he was intending to, I guess, where he had kind of decided was the only safe place, and that is a booby-trapped kind of dock warehouse thing that is belongs to Frank Castle. This is the Punisher's lair with all kinds of booby traps going off that Peter has to dodge and save MJ from, which is fun. And even more fun is that when Frank walks up and it's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And banter ensues. It's all pretty great. It's a lot of fun. They, eventually, Frank's like, "All right, yeah, fine, bring her in. We'll keep her safe." And there's, Punisher and Spidey banter. There's Frank Castle and Mary Jane banter. There's Spider-Man and MJ banter. All of it is pretty good.
Yes, exactly. Eventually, Frank concedes, right? Like, he's like, "All right, fine, I'll take care of her." And they just kind of have like a moment where like they're walking into Frank's place, and like you mentioned, MJ sees all the pictures of Frank's family, and instead of addressing it and unpacking it,
she's like, "Oh, is this your family?" And he's just like, "Yeah,
we don't talk about that. You don't look at
like, don't I have one rule: don't touch any of my stuff, don't move anything, don't touch anything, don't ask anything." And she's like, "That's really 3 rules, isn't it?" He's like, "Yeah, I see why you like her."
Yeah. And then you see that dynamic, and that's the thing that I like about Zendaya's version of not Mary Jane, because she's MJ, but she's Michelle Jones in this version. But that's what I love so much, is that she's got like that dark, witty banter as well. And it's here where Peter starts to work on the inhibitor once again, because he's like, "I need to do X, Y, and Z for the inhibitor. You don't have any of these things." Frank was like, "How do you know what I got?" He's almost like offended.
And he's like, "Do you have this, this, and this?" He's like, "Yeah, I got all those."
Yeah, it's like, "What would you need that for?" And then MJ's like, "Bomb." It's like, "Yeah, exactly,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that, again, it's just like very fun, like banter back and forth, and like the chemistry and dynamic between all 3 of them is fantastic in these scenes.
It is so good. And again, the entire time, Spider-Man's in his suit, and I love it. It looks beautiful and gorgeous. And the entire time, that's all I could stare at is him in these random shots talking to MJ, talking to Frank, and just looking like Spider-Man in the comics in a scene, talking to people. It's great.
Yeah, the only time that he doesn't have his mask on is when MJ's laying like on a hammock or a bed or whatever while he's working on his computer trying to work on the inhibitor stuff, and they're having
there's like a screen between them too.
Yeah, so. there's like a screen or like a sheet or something covering it, like in between them, but they're having this like moment of heart to heart where she also like is asking me, "Is it safe to contact someone to let them know I'm safe?" And Peter's like, "Well, they know everyone, so they might be possessing them, so you might be giving it away." It's like, "Oh, you're right." It's like, "Oh, who are you trying to talk to? Tell your boyfriend?" It's like, "Oh, no.
You think I'm withholding? Oh, it's my roommate." Yeah, basically.
Yeah. She says she's trying to let Ned know, and it's like, "Oh, no, I don't think that's a good idea." And it just goes on to her asking about, say, "How do you have someone?" And he admitting to her that, "I had someone, I had to let them go just to keep them safe." And she just like shows sympathy towards him and just like lets him know, it's like, "Hey, I'm sorry, that must have been hard." And she wants to get up and help him with the inhibitor. He's like, "Hold up," puts on the mask back on, and she does actually crack the case as to why the inhibitor was overheating.
She helps him with the inhibitor. She gives him a tip on his goggles actually putting out radiation that interferes and is causing buildup in the inhibitor.
Exactly. And then again, it just kind of unpacks this narrative of like, it feels like this is like MJ says the line is like, "What you're building feels like you're building something to contain a monster," and I don't see a monster here. I just see a guy, a good guy that's going through some changes. And again, that's the thing that Peter has to embrace. He has to embrace that he's just going through changes and mutation. Like similar to the little spider nature channel like video that he was watching. It's more so like he's still going through puberty, essentially with his Spider-Man powers, and that's what's happening.
Right. I took off my headset so the cat wouldn't paw at it. Can you still hear me fine? No? Okay.
What do you mean?
Oh, no, I said you can hear me, right?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, good.
All right.
Just making sure. I'll put that headset back on in a minute. Yeah, that cat is kind of wilding out. But, that might be because she's a little excited. Her name's Mystique. And it's at this point that the AI has run the facial recognition that he had taken that picture of and has identified the person he's been chasing. So hang on. That's what I'm talking about. The person he's been chasing is Jean Grey. To get by a telepath, you need some protection here, as my good friend Eric here knew all about. And Jean Grey, of course, is the titular Marvel girl, later Phoenix of the X-Men. In this, though, she is the telepath that has been hounding Peter Parker this entire time.
Yes. Even though you let it slip earlier in the review, but yes, it's revealed to be Jean Grey. So I think at this point, some alert comes going where Jean is attacked.
It is at this point that your pathetic, weak Avengers are finally going to be beat down by the true heroes of the MCU. The Mutant Rebellion, the leader of the Mutant Brotherhood, Magneto, will make an introduction at some point, I am sure. But for now, we have Jean Grey, and that is enough. I'm looking forward to the dominance of the X-Men. That has been predicted here by the appearance of Jean Grey. Of course.
Yes, and what I liked here is that they introduced Jean Grey. Like I get it's a little weird because Jean Grey isn't necessarily like her specifically doesn't have too much of a continuity relationship with Spider-Man as individuals. Like, yes, they might cross paths when Spider-Man is like X-Men at some point in time. But I thought it was very original. Like, it's the first official canonical mutant in the MCU. Now, whenever this version of Jean Grey shows up, whether that is in Doomsday or Secret Wars or the mutant saga that's slowly going to be built in, I kind of like that they did this because it's very similar to what they did with Peter Parker. They introduced him in
a different property, right?
In a Captain America.
Right.
Yeah, it feels like an Avengers film because it's basically an Avengers film, but it's Captain America Civil War. And that's kind of like a good thing that they're doing here. They're introducing this character. They're letting you know their backstory. And then I think she's going to be one of the pillars for this new recast of the X-Men in the MCU. And one of the reasons why up until this point, we haven't really seen any of the live action Jean Greys be mentioned to be in any of these multiversal Avengers films. So I like that. I like that they're slowly integrating the mutants into the MCU, and I'm very much excited
for I very much like this version of the mutants who are hewing more to the true hero of that story, right? and taking on a very more militant resistance approach. As this Jean is pretty brutal, man. She is wicked. I love it.
Oh man, and that's crazy because she hasn't even have her full untapped powers yet.
No, and that was the thing. I'm like, so at this point, we just see her doing this body jump thing, and honestly, because let's be real, most people probably guessed it was Jean Grey. This has been rumored for a long time, even though it wasn't confirmed.
Right.
That she was playing Jean Grey. Sadie Sink was, but we never got official confirmation. She'd dance around it all the time and say like silly things like her jeans are gray, but yeah. That's but no, this version of her is interesting. It's clearly the mutants in this world are going to be a lot more again hewing to my preferred method of resistance. But yeah, she is only body jumping at this point. She's not really like a full, the Jean Grey we know.
She hasn't fully like unleashed her full telepathic powers just yet, which.
And frankly, we don't know if that's even, is she just a body jump? Like, is this what she is? We don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
this is a cool reveal still, as they get her name, Jean. I think it says Jean Elaine Grey, which I don't remember
Something
that
like
part.
that.
Yeah, but Jean Grey, we know who it
Yeah,
is.
and it's so we transition, so we get that revelation as well, right? So MJ does go ahead and help Peter figure out what the issue was with the inhibitor chip, and then he
Yeah.
goes ahead and builds a universal one to use on Jean.
Yes.
And it's at
Oh, yeah,
this
that's the reveal. He not only fixes his own, but now he makes it. He has a second one that's active. That's a universal inhibitor.
yeah,
Harkening back to many a mutant storyline.
and here's the thing. We were talking about how naive and gullible Peter Parker is he's gonna feel the weight and responsibility of this mutant saga, because he essentially gives damage control and like the entire villain arc of the MCU. He essentially gives them the technology, the blueprint to create these inhibitor collars that they use in Deadpool movies, and they've used in other medias as well, where they just just like
No,
get rid of their
and
powers.
that will, I'm assuming, will probably come back to play a role in any future.
I think so. I think so too. So then Spider-Man does have to go and
because the facial recognition also picks up that, where she's headed and all that.
Yes, yeah, they get live footage of her breaking into damage control. So he leaves MJ in the hands of Frank, and he goes off. He stays with her, but MJ talks Frank, and it's like,
yeah, this is pretty great, and she references back to that shared history without talking about it. Like, wouldn't he do the same for you? And that,
right. It's like, no, he told me to stay here. It's like, no, but I think he needs you more over there. It's like, what about Staten Island? And then I love that. That's a great little like nugget there.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to the damage control scene with Peter arriving there as well.
Yeah.
And Bill Wegler.
Metzger,
Metzger,
not James Metzger. Again, my history and teacher, but Bill. Is it? Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, Bill. Yeah.
I think I like my name for him better. Damage control douche is in the armory, basically. Well,
in the vault, that they kind of like
they've locked themselves in there because you see something powerful is banging on the door trying to get in, and they're has been wreaking havoc through damage control.
Mm-hmm.
Spidey of course swings in, and it is the powerful being, because Jean is in the office, Metzger's office, looking for VMAX. Any reference to it, she's not able to find it. She's on talking to Metzger over the comms, I believe, and basically like, you're going to give me what I want type of stuff. And Spidey does swing in to see what, how she's breaking in, who she's using here. And it is the Hulk, which is,
but we still have Smart Hulk.
Yeah, it's the bannerized Hulk. You see him as like a banner face Hulk like you get in like Doomsday, or Doomsday, in Endgame. Thank you.
Yes.
So it is that combination banner Hulk sort, but he is under control, so it's not him.
Agreed.
It is Jean Grey in control of the Hulk, and they're going at it. Spidey's in a little bit of trouble, and just like you said, MJ had talked the Punisher in. So who is there to save Spidey in trouble? It is the Punisher, just coming in, roaring, firing off his assault rifle into the Hulk, and getting at least buying enough time for Peter to get away a bit. They do get to the other side, and Peter's like, "What the hell are you doing? This is the Hulk. You cannot."
You're a little out of your element here.
Yeah.
No, but before Frank actually shows up, we do see that like he's still like bannerized Hulk, and as he's fighting Spider-Man, he's getting angrier, and the angrier he's getting, the other guy, the true Hulk, is slowly coming out, and Jean is unable to control it. So
during this fight, she actually gets kicked out of his head.
It gets kicked out of his head, and then we get the original Incredible Hulk.
Well, first he goes back to Bruce Banner, and
right. He goes back to
Spidey's
Bruce
like,
Banner.
hey, Dr. Banner, you got to put this on. Banner's like, who did I hurt? Because he doesn't know anything. He's got no memory of it, so it's just like a Hulk episode to him. He just sees everything destroyed around him, and he's just tweaking out. And he's like, what's going on? Who did I? How many people are hurt? Is anybody hurt? Are they okay? What did I do? All of this, and Peter's trying to like calm him down and be like, no, you just got to put this on. And he tries to give him the inhibitor chip, and Banner just kind of tweaks out at that, knocks it out. He's like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to give me? And then the Hulk, the real Hulk, comes out. We get the capital letters Hulk. This is
and I love that we finally got this return to form
after so long. We have waited so long for an actual Hulk because we have not gotten the true Hulk in a while. And he is massive. He is ripped. He is roaring. And this is the scene from, I think, one of the trailers you mentioned.
Where he's like, oh, I didn't know you can get that big.
Yeah. And he's looking up, and it is the Hulk, and it is great. Spidey's trying to run off, and he does the Hulk thunderclap to just blow him through a hallway. Like it's awesome. It's full on Hulk.
No, it definitely is. And then again, going to what you were saying, this is where Punisher comes in to help make this assist for Spider-Man. But you could tell that they're trying to come up with a plan, and then Frank's like, "Oh, well, what if I do this? You do that?" I was like, "Are you just trying to get out of fighting the Hulk?" So,
yeah. Well, he's like, and Spider's like, "Yeah, that's smart, good. You shouldn't fight the Hulk. That's the Hulk." He's like, the real issue is the girl, is Jean. Go stop her, but don't kill her. And
it's like, I'm gonna do this way. Yeah,
I'm gonna do it my way, you stupid kid. And
again, they're just the classic banter. They're the whole dynamic is great. But
then which is funny because right here, my friend leaned over to me. One of my friends, so I went to this movie with a lot of people, and one of my friends leaned over to me and he's like, "Do you think Jean controls him?" And I'm like, instantly. And that's exactly what happens.
Instantly,
instantly. And I'm like, Frank just sees her and is instantly within reach and gets mind controlled right away. She now has control of the goddamn Terminator, the Punisher, of course, fully decked out in his armor and his killing clothes and his killing tools. And while Peter's Spidey is entangled with the Hulk, she sends the Punisher off to the vault.
Right.
So we get a really cool scene here. I mean, the whole Hulk Spider-Man stuff is really cool. There's fighting back and forth. Spidey trying to web him up to the wall. Hulk breaking out of it, dragging pieces of the wall along with him because he's all webbed to it, and he's like being dragged off the edge of the building, but he's still the Hulk. He just smashes Spider-Man. He's smashing him. That's what Hulk does. Hulk smash.
That Spider-Man tried to even the odds, and then like we get like that circle back to the Shocker Gauntlet that he tries to use on Hulk.
That's right. He grabs it. Yeah, you think it's about to do something, and it's like no, because it was a buildup. Like you said, there was it was a Chekhov's gun. They referred to it earlier. You see it again. You see Spider-Man grab it later. And you're like, oh, this is gonna play in. Like no. And the Hulk is just like, this is this puny toy, and just basically wrecks it immediately.
Fucking hilarious. Which is just lets you know the Shocker would not stand a chance with the Hulk,
or frankly anyone. But yeah,
no,
it was pretty great. And of course now Spider-Man is being smashed.
Yeah, he's done for it.
Oh, he's done for because after Hulk smashes him, he's now grabbing him and is about to like just kill him. He's going to squeeze him to death.
Yeah,
he's going to kill him. And Spidey, starts begging. He's like, Dr. Banner, Bruce, it's me. We're friends. It's me. It's Peter. And you see Hulk in his eyes just kind of like change. And in the comics, this is interesting because when Spider-Man's identity is wiped from everybody, the only person who does remember it, to my memory, is the Hulk.
It is.
Banner's memory gets wiped, but the Hulk's doesn't.
Because when he in the comics, when he made the deal with Mephisto to wipe everybody's memory of Peter Parker and Spider-Man, Bruce was not as the Hulk. He was just Bruce Banner. So when the Hulk interacts with him, that's when he recalls. Was like, hey, he knows exactly who he is.
The Hulk knows who Peter is. Yeah.
My only continuity issue here, and again, like it could be something that could be like tied together later on, is that I don't recall at any points that version of the Hulk interacting with Spider-Man / Peter Parker.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it could be at some point in the interplay between Infinity War and Endgame and the aftermath, maybe. But
But
also, they
Spider-Man
want.
was snapped. He was part of the blip.
Well, I'm saying in the in Infinity War, initially he's not, but he's off planet, and then Endgame he's snapped back. Like they have a afterplay, like
Yeah, but after that we don't see that version of Hulk. We just see Banner Hulk.
But he's still Hulk. He's Banner Hulk, but he's Hulk.
Yeah, they
They're
haven't
intertwined.
within the continuity. They haven't established that Hulk has any recollection or any, like, we don't know if that's Hulk and Banner
Well, Smart
together.
Hulk, yeah, Smart Hulk is Hulk and Banner together. Then later we see Banner in other media where he's got back to Banner and he's inhibiting Hulk.
So my personal belief is that unless it was spoken said otherwise, I think that's its own personality. That's like some other person, and it's just straight up Banner.
But regardless, it doesn't quite matter because they don't actually explicitly say this. I'm alluding to the comics, which do explicitly, like, Hulk knows it's Peter. But in this movie, that's not actually clear. They actually kind of make it seem like the fact that Spider-Man says, "I'm your friend," it's your friend. Like that's what kind of gets the Hulk.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily the identity of Peter Parker. Maybe
it's
not.
more so that him saying it's like we're friends. I'm your friend, and it's like.
And Hulk does remember fighting, like Spider-Man, I guess, right? Like possibly. But either way, like maybe it's Bruce's memories coming through or Bruce taking back over. Regardless, they leave it very vague. It's not like the comics where it's clearly Hulk knows, remembers.
Right.
But he basically lets go, and
he falls down, he crashes,
yeah.
And it's at this point that Peter kind of has to make a choice. Does he go to try to check on Bruce to see if he's okay, or does he go and check out the vault and go after Jean with the inhibitor? Because he tried to put the inhibitor.
That was a great moment. First of all, I'm like, why would you think that was going to work? Especially after the first time. Yeah, his skin is too tough to. The inhibitor is not going to puncture his skin. It's not getting on there.
No, it's not. So, like, I like that he tried to pivot to use the inhibitor, that little tiny little chip inhibitor on the Hulk, and it was not going to work.
Yeah.
But he had that moment where, like, he had to choose: do I go and check on Bruce, make sure he's okay, or do because the vault where the damage control douche is at with the rest of his crew.
I'm glad you come around to my point of view. Yes, and also like you see them now because the Punisher has now breached the vault and he shoots two of the damage control people in the leg. As Jean controls him and basically points at damage control douche and says, give me, I don't remember, give me, where's Sarah, whatever that at that point, is going to kill them. And he's like, okay, basically, like, otherwise the next one goes through your heads. Like the guards drop their weapons when he says,
exactly.
Like, drop your weapons or the next one goes through your heads. The guards drop it. Looks like Punisher, as Jean controlling Punisher, is about to shoot Musker in the head. And you see what you just alluded to, which is Spidey made that choice because he knocks the gun right out of Punisher, webs it to the wall, right as Jean Punisher was about to fire.
Yes.
Jean is in the room controlling them, controlling Punisher. And Spider-Man swings in and snaps that inhibitor chip onto Jean.
And then webs it down just for safety measures, just for security measures, and making sure it does not come off. It completely just drains all her powers. Like, she's just regular human at this point. She has no like telepathic powers, and it's at this point that she gets shot by like almost like a tranquilizer.
It's a trank one. And as the trank is kicking in, she's falling down by Spidey, and she says Sarah.
Sarah. Yeah, she says Sarah. She gets taken into by damage control custody after the fallout of these events. Banner as well. It looks like he's being taken to a medical facility, but my little like headcanon is that I think he's also going to be like imprisoned by damage control.
Well, he is, because they said they're taking him to a psychiatric facility because they think, like, to all the world, it seems like the Hulk just lost control.
Yeah, but that's not exactly what happened. Right. And then that's where Spider-Man tries to talk to damage control douche, and he's like, "Hey, dude, does Sarah mean anything?"
Yeah. What does that mean to you?
Yeah. Does that mean anything to you? It's like, Sarah is like.
There was somebody, I think, I remember she was in my head. I think she picked that somebody. It's from my memory. She picked it up.
Yeah, so that was the last thing I remembered. She might have just like been like residuals from like my memories and stuff like that. It was like, oh, okay, cool. So then after that he just goes back to MJ and
Yeah, he's back to the Punisher hideout. He has to
Yeah.
swing back to the Punisher hideout. So when he gets there, though, he's, hey, coming in to like say, well, we got her, it should be safe. And instead, MJ has his back to him and then turns around, and it turns out she has found the note in the coffee cup.
Yes, she's very upset that she had to find out this way. I was like, did you leave this on purpose for me to find? And Peter just frantically is just like, no, I wanted to tell you. And he's trying to give an explanation. It's like, can you just, and then MJ is just like, can you take the mask off? I feel like I should be having this conversation with, looks at the note, Peter Parker, because again, letting us know that she doesn't know who this person is, but apparently she did at some point. That's where Peter takes off the mask and having this heart-to-heart with MJ.
And basically tells her, this is what happened is you were the person I was referring to that, I had to let go because to keep you safe. And we were, I loved you, but I can't really live without you. And unfortunately, she's like, well, I have no memory of you. So the person you loved is not me. I don't know you.
That I'm not that girl. And it was very similar to when the 2012 version of Gamora with Peter Quill and Guardians.
Dude, very much. Yeah.
Oh, it's like it sucked because it's her, but it's not her, So it was a very difficult scene. She sympathized with him, but she was still very upset with him, and she leaves, telling him that like, I don't love you because I don't know who you are.
Yeah, and it's like, to me, this was I thought this was very important because I do think like Peter had to hear that. Like, you got to realize this is not that MJ. Like those you erased the memories; they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not your love of your life right now. Or it might be, but you're not hers, because he needed to find a way to understand
I think it's something they could circle back to, but they left the door open to that being a possibility. Obviously, we'll talk about that more once we get to some scenes that might allude to that, but they also opened the door for Peter to just now accept that reality and I try to move on.
As this franchise continues, I would like unless they were, if that was a settled, Peter MJ throughout, like, I'm happy with that too. I'm happy when they get married. I didn't love that they undid their marriage in the comics. That stupid shit. Yeah. But Brand New Day alludes to the fact that in the comics, even though these movies don't really follow at all the comics that they're taking their titles from in terms of like Age of Apocalypse or Age of Ultron or Brand New Day or any of those, none of those really follow those storylines. But Brand New Day is about Peter having to move on from that relationship being undone with MJ, and him having to move on from it, and while One More Day, which is the story in which the relationship is undone, that story sucked. Brand New Day was actually really good, and launched a new chapter of Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and I think in the movies it would be nice to, if this isn't going to be like a continuous, them growing together as a couple, if it's just like constantly trying to win her back, I would rather they move on for a little bit.
I think so. I think it will be will they, won't they kind of situation where they'd be platonical friends in this universe. You could see an introduction of a Felicia Hardy, Black Cat, could be a new love interest for Peter in the next film or the second.
Yeah, Felicia. You can have Gwen come back.
Gwen Stacy. There was a Cindy in the class with Banner. Could there be in this universe? Could he have some sort of relationship with a Cindy Moon? Maybe.
Right.
Right. So there's definitely some paths that they can go by, right? But
yeah, it would be nice to explore some other relationships for Peter.
But going back to the film, MJ does walk away and then does this awkward tail tuck between her legs. So it's like, Ashley, I don't have my phone. Could you actually take me? And
what's funny is I was thinking like she was going to run into those booby traps outside. I'm like, wait, where are you going, girl? Because Frank Castle's got the whole place wired up.
Right, exactly. And it's probably like the saddest Spider-Man swing I've ever fucking seen and experienced.
Yeah, because he's just carrying her silently back.
Yeah. Drops her off. He's getting ready to leave, and then she, I guess, feels bad for him and invites him to come upstairs to like say
Yeah, they're
hello.
gonna say goodbye, but then she thinks like, hang on, like they did say goodbye, and he's turning
Yeah.
to leave, but he's just kind of standing there, and she's like, wait, do you want to say come?
Do you want to come upstairs? To say hello to Ned at least. And he's like, yes, I would love that. He immediately takes that, and it's funny because prior to this, Ned is revealed to have created this spider tracker like app or whatever to help track Spider-Man sightings, which is very cool. And then he starts to freak out because like, oh my god, MJ, the sighting, it's like right on top of us. It's like Spider-Man's like
He's in the vicinity.
He's in the vicinity, and then Peter's like, no way, that's crazy.
Yeah,
and then he just like loses his shits.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like they have an extended hangout. Is it Legos? They're like building more Star Wars.
Yeah, they're building more Star Wars Legos.
And they're just like seamlessly, it's best friends forever, just like, hanging out there. But Peter as Spider-Man in full costume, which again,
yes.
Yeah.
But it was great because like that was very heartwarming to see their dynamic, their friendships, even without knowing each other like that. Like it's almost like muscle memory, which again we'll allude to later. But Ned starts to like wanting to ask questions and stuff like that, and then
they're all stupid questions, which is great. And
they're all stupid questions, which on brand for Ned.
Yeah, like
and then eventually
on rooftops type of shit.
Like, ask him about the web fluids, and the web shooter. And he's like, no, I kind of have an idea of how you might do that. And then he's like, okay, well, maybe it's this and this. And then he's like, oh, fine, keep your secrets, And then like good. they do this like Lord of the Rings like whole like a quote off, or they quote the film, and then they had like this whole nerd off and stuff. Again, MJ Ned goes to go pick up takeout, and then MJ is like, I can see how you guys could have been best friends in another world, and
she's like, drawn them, but she's drawn them with Peter as Peter, not Spider-Man.
Yes, exactly.
It's very sweet,
and which is great because again, it's sketching people in distress, like she did in Homecoming, which was great. And then that's when Peter reveals to her that it's like, hey, you know what? When Jean was taking over your mind, she kissed me and I kissed her back. I'm sorry. I thought you should
know. And she tells him she has no memory of it, which triggers something for Peter to finally break out of his naivete.
Yes, he breaks out of his naivete. He's like, oh, okay, so damage control douche, he lied to me because he's over here talking about Sarah. There's no way he could have known if you have no memory. Just like, it's just like that was so scary about it. MJ reveals it's just like instantaneous.
1 minute was this, and then the next is after the
it's just complete blackouts. He contacts Yelena once again to
because he's now knows that they're lying to him, so he has Yelena look that up, and he says, by the way, which is great because he does it there at their apartment, so off their computer, and so Ned comes in with the takeout and is tweaking out because Black Widow is on his the new Black Widow is on.
It's like, oh, the Sandman has friends.
It's really great. Yelena's happy that, oh my god, you got friends. Good for you, because you definitely didn't have any last time I saw you.
But that's where we kind of have like the reveal that she reveals to Spider-Man that, oh, this is
Jean Grey. He asked her to look up. What she can find on the Sarah person and damage control. And Yelena reveals that they had pretty much attempted to delete all records of it, but Sarah was Jean Grey's sister and was taken by damage control. And This is when Peter realizes that he has actually been helping the villain, and the person who we thought the villain was not entirely the villain.
Which I kind of knew was going to be the situation.
And yes, of course. But he now realizes it, and he also realizes, he says, "Oh my God!" Like he says it out loud, like, "Oh, I delivered her to the people that took her sister." Like,
yes,
like I just did.
I think it's at this point is when we get the like a flashback sequence of Jean with her sister Sarah, and how Sarah's the one that taught her how to use her jumping ability to possess other people. and we see the scene where Damage Control takes Sarah, and Jean gets like possessed by her sister to keep her safe, and then by the time she snaps out of the mind control,
By that point, Damage Control is gone, having snatched her up off the street. So
same difference,
yes.
honestly. But yeah, and then I think that's when we cut back to Jean waking up in like this room, like
they have prepared the Magneto room ish for her. They've got the distance that she's being kept at, because they know from having kept Sarah. So they've got her in a little fake room in a cage that's visible. As the fake walls retract, you see that it's actually a cage within a larger room that is well beyond the 33-foot jump distance that she has. But they've got the inhibitor chip on her that Spider-Man had, and they're going to disable it, and they're going to now torture her. They're going to run her through, because they found a way to prod these jumps with Sarah when they had Sarah. And he tells her, like, you're going to finish what Sarah started, and you're going to help us honor her sacrifice. So
and throughout this whole time, she keeps asking about Sarah, and he refuses to say anything. He just completely no-sells her and ignores her.
Like, Sarah was helping us, and now you're going to help us, basically, is what he says. And the way that she's going to do that, help us, is again, they're going to trigger jumps, and they're going to measure her mind, and their goal is kind of measure her synaptic pathways and kind of see what happens in her brain when these jumps happen, to try to map that process and maybe recreate it for themselves.
And weaponize it essentially.
And it's brutal, man. They're torturing her. They're just triggering jump after jump after jump. She's in clear pain. She's not even anywhere she can jump to. They're just triggering the process so that her brain does what it does when it jumps. There's nowhere to go, so it just snaps back, rubber band yo-yos right back to her. And they're just doing it one after another. You see her literally being tortured, just in absolute pain. And at this point, Spider-Man, of course, jumps out, the window of Ned and MJ's apartment, where he has to go save Jean now from damage control. And MJ yells out, "Be careful, Peter," which shocks Ned a little bit.
It's like, Spider-Man's name is Peter?
Yeah. That's great. I like that.
It was a great little spot. And again, I love more when Peter finally arrives to damage control, and he's like talking with the guards, and he does the whole little, it's like, hold up.
Not in high school anymore. Yeah.
We're not in high school anymore. Got to stretch. Like, you guys should stretch, which again, I liked it because it was kind of like letting us know this isn't the same Peter from Homecoming. He's not in high school anymore. It's a different Peter. Yeah. And again, the fight sequences were so cool.
Yeah. He wrecks these dudes. It's pretty sweet.
Fantastic, man.
Into the building. And he is trying to get in there to save Jean Grey. So he fights his way through in that awesome fight sequence, like you just said. And he is attempting to make it in there. The DC damage control douche is, while he's torturing Jean, gets the notification that,
Spider-Man's there.
Yeah, we have an intruder on base. And he takes the hand, which, by the way, we should have mentioned this earlier. The hand it works for damage control. That should have been an obvious freaking tell.
Yeah, that should have been a red
Spider-Man. That way back when Spidey first went to the damage control building, one of the many skeevy things that they had was just members of the hand just milling about, and they were like, "No, it's cool. Like we show them the error of the ways. They work for us now, or whatever."
Yeah, they were just young kids looking for some leadership, some guidance,
some direction. Yeah,
some direction.
That's them. They're good now. Which had Spider-Man actually gotten a chance to speak more to his lawyer in No Way Home than perhaps he would have gotten.
Well, his lawyer is currently incarcerated.
Got clued in. I'm saying at that time, maybe he would have gotten clued in as to the nature of the hand.
That's true.
But he didn't get that chance. So, and he is gullible as shit. So now the hand has been dispatched, by damage control douche to go confront Spidey. And continues to make his way in, and what happens in the meantime as he goes in there is that they are continuing to torture Jean, and she is like on the verge of basically passing out. As they stop, she's all really clearly going through it, kind of like bloody nose type shit, and she goes back on the chair, and as she looks up, the air vent above her has a label that's slightly ripped, And the vent is by a company or a model that says VentMax. And the Ent part of it is ripped off, so it just says VMAX. And that was the last image that Sarah had beamed to her head, basically in that moment of death that allowed her powers to reach.
Yeah, it wasn't like
it wasn't a project.
No, it wasn't what Jean thought it was. It wasn't like some secret that she was trying to give to Jean or anything. It was literally her sister's last words.
It's the last thing she saw. Yeah,
it's the last
thought she had, because it's the last thing she saw was the words V Max.
And then that just snaps. That just
yeah. Jean realizes that this is where that's the last thing she saw. This is where she died. And
yes,
it turns out no, Jean Grey is not just a 33-foot mind body snatcher jumper. She's Jean Grey, and she powers the fuck up. And she goes. I'm not going to say full Jean Grey because that's another.
Not just yet, but you see the little bit of the scope of her power, because she kind of like puts like a whole not the entire city, but a whole.
No, she puts out like a bubble of force, like ripples out from her head.
Yeah, and freezing everyone in place that we see so far. That it impacted Ned and MJ all the way back in their apartment.
Impacting Ned and MJ. It's frozen a significant part of the city.
It's prevented Frank from getting to.
Yeah, Punisher was making his way over to this fight, and he comes upon the edge of this bubble and sees everybody frozen inside of it, and kind of has to turn around and leave because there's nothing he can do about that. That's beyond his scope of his abilities.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think someone even calls Spidey because he's going through there and now he sees everyone in there frozen weirdly, like the hand and damage control guards. He's like, what is this? And basically at that point, Jean controls the hand, and now she's able to control multiple people at once.
Yes.
So she controls all the hand members and has this talk with Spidey. Spidey trying to say and she's like, you gave me to them, you did this. And he's like, no, I know I messed up. I'm sorry. I didn't know about Sarah and all this. And basically she's like, yeah, whatever. And starts fighting him with every guard and member of the hand that's in the damage control. It's pretty cool. It's a wicked. Spidey's pushed to the limits of his power because he's having to fight multiple fronts here. And he's got that inhibitor chip, that's now fixed. So he's not tweaking out.
No, he's not. But it's during this fight where he also it's revealed to him via Jean that damage control and the hand had technology specifically designed for Spider-Man.
Well, that was the best part, because in the fight, he's shooting his webs up at these people, and he gets taken by total surprise because the damage control guards, who Jean is controlling, of course, up there, shoot down, and they have basically a modified version of maybe the shocker gauntlets or something, but it dissolves his webbing as it's shooting up, completely dissolves it, and it shocks him, and it's like, oh crap. Like, these are completely useless. And Jean tells them, isn't it interesting that, doesn't it concern you that these people had a plan for you all along? Like, they had these weapons are to take you down. They have a whole
just in case Spider-Man didn't fall in line.
Yeah, they have a protocol for when they need to control you, and you get out of line. Like, these weapons were designed for you. And they are designed to take down Spider-Man. They nullify his webbing, nullify his ability to move around the room the way he normally does.
Exactly.
And, she's fighting him with the hand. This is too much. His webbing is nullified. He's getting his butt kicked. Somebody at this point calls him. I can't remember if it's Jean DeWolf or Punisher, but they call him Punisher. It's Punisher. He tells him the scope of the bubble, and that's when he learns it's reached. It controls this entire area of Manhattan up to Brooklyn, I think he says, and that's when Spidey realizes, Ned and MJ are caught in it, right? He realizes that it encompasses them, and so he is desperately trying to fight back, but he's losing, man. He's losing.
Yeah, he's losing battle. He's over his head.
Yeah, Jean is taunting him. Asks him, who are you? Are you Spider-Man? Are you Peter Parker? You don't know who you are. This inhibitor chip, you can't even accept who you are. You don't know which one to be. This and that, and this is when Spider-Man comes to a realization as he's there. And he says, he goes through his memories, and he says, I'm both. And he takes off the inhibitor chip, and he powers up.
Yeah, you see the black eyes reemerge as well. The hand members attacking him, and just instinctively, almost like muscle memory with the organic webbings, just stopping the hand member.
Yeah, and you think he's lost control because right away he power kicks this one hand member right up, and there's like a jagged edge of
yeah, it looks like he's about to get impaled.
He's about to impale him, but no, Spidey webs him right before he hits that.
Yeah, saves him.
So he's now got the super Spidey powers, but he's still in control. He's not out.
Yes, exactly. So he was able to find that balance that we were talking about.
Yeah,
in the movie coming full circle, and it's at that moment where he doesn't try to suppress the spider DNA. He doesn't try to bury his Peter Parker life. He embraces both and accepts that he's both.
And now the damage control guns that were designed for his mechanical webbing, for his artificial webbing, are used on him, but he is now a full spider. And the mechanical web shooters, by the way, got destroyed during the fight anyway.
Yes, exactly. It was one of the reasons where he like kind of felt like he needed to take off the inhibitor, because the mechanical web shooters that he created are destroyed. Even if he wanted to keep trying to use them, they were gone. So like he was trying to continue the fight without web shooters.
But it was really the themes you said, like, because Jean taunting him about this, like, you don't know who you are, and him realizing that he needs to be who he is, which is both of these beings, and he needs to have balance. Yeah. That's why he takes off the inhibitor, because he's like, no, I need to embrace this. And it kind of goes back to what the Hulk Banner was trying to tell him earlier as well, right? About accepting, these changes, and how do you decide?
Which is a little hypocritical from Bruce saying that when we haven't even seen the Hulk since Infinity War.
Right, exactly. But he has embraced that, and so it's not only let him power up, but now he's got his organic webs, and when he fires them up, they use those guns, and guess what? They were designed for the chemical composition of the artificial webs. Mm-hmm. They were not designed for these organic webs. They are not effective against stopping them.
Yes, exactly.
Web up damage control.
Yeah, he's basically at this point able to completely dispatch of the hand and damage control.
And that cool scene you were just alluding to, right? That comes now with the webbing. Yeah,
like the little web. It's what they call web blossom, the signature move in the video game. Which again was very cool. And we saw that in one of the trailers. But so my hope here is that the arachnid DNA lowers just slightly enough to where he's stronger. We also get to see enhanced spider sense, because the ninja stars get thrown at him.
Yeah, he basically has Neo from the Matrix abilities. But classic Spider-Man abilities, really. Classic Spider-Man.
I'm hoping he gets all the upgrades except for the organic web.
Same. Yeah, I hope he sees
and I think he just finds that just enough to not get the organic web shooters.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's like, oh, I'm grossed out by these. Let me go use my mechanical ones.
Well, you know what? Maybe he finds the antidote to that rabbit bite from Toby, and it suppresses just enough. So just enough of those side effects.
Yes, but with his enhanced abilities, he's now able to break down the door that he was unable to do so
he
prior.
Gets into the door. Yeah, exactly. And Jean has had a damage control douche on a chair, kind of wrapped up, bound in front of her with shards of glass, basically pointing at him.
Oh yeah, getting ready to just kill him.
Yeah, and she's got him right there, and there's Peter trying to
talk the ledge.
Yeah, exactly. And she turns up. She says, "You know what? I'm." Oh, by the way, this whole time, Punisher, when he left the bubble, he didn't just give up and go home. He went to a vantage point where he could get a clear sniper shot into that room with a full sniper rifle. So from significant distance, he's trying to set up to see if he can set up a sniper shot here.
Right.
But yeah, Spidey's there. Jean says she is powered up now, and she's like, don't be so sure. I can't enter your mind. And Peter says, go ahead.
He lets her in to it all, and we get a very an amazing and emotional scene here, because we saw a glimpse of this, where this is shortly after Aunt May discovers Peter's secret identity as Spider-Man, and just kind of gives her this talk about how hey, you're going through changes, and just because you have these powers doesn't mean that you're any different. There's going to be people that are going to be doing like evil things to you because of these powers, but you have to remember that, you know, you're not alone. You're not
Well,
dealing with
also that like you're loved now, and the people who will love you then will love you because you're you, not because
and not because of these powers. Just because you're getting stronger and more powerful does not change things, you know.
Yep.
And then what was great is that she was having that conversation.
But
with
Gene
Peter.
is in his mind, so Gene is sitting there as Peter.
Yeah. So she's not only is she's in this memory, but she's the one having this conversation with May.
Yeah.
And it's at this point where like she was always able to like get into people's minds, but this is the first time she was able to actually feel and experience empathy. Like,
not only that, we
time.
were told earlier in the flashback sequence between conversation between Sarah, her sister, and Jean, they were younger, that apparently their mom, unlike the comics, not only is Sarah a mutant, but also their mom just basically abandoned them when they got their powers. Was like, no, you're not, you know, children, essentially, and let them go. So this is the first time she's hearing this from this sort of figure that you're still loved. You still can
exactly. It's something that she longed for when she was
you will find people, and those people will love you for who you are, and you know that. So yeah. Thanks,
Mystique agrees.
No, she definitely does. I mean, this is Jean Grey, so you know Mystique's gonna say that.
Yeah, 100%. And then it's at that point where like Peter reappears in that memory, or
he walks into
mind,
it.
And has that whole heart to
heart. Aunt May kind of like that memory ends, and she vanishes, and Peter sits next to her, and they have what you said, they have a heart to heart.
Yeah. And then she's like, well, I'm alone, I have nobody. It was like, you don't have you have me. Basically, like letting her know, it's like, hey, look.
And he even said, you know, I tried what you tried, and I realized now that I can't do that. Like I was going it alone, and I did think I didn't need anyone. I know, Mystique, it's very powerful. And
powerful message.
Yeah, and it's not. It turns out we do need people. You know, we do need connection. We do need people, and it's not. You know, that's not how we can do this. In fact, Frank tells him this earlier in the movie. Because Peter's like, no, I'm just like you. You know, I don't have anyone. Because Frank is like, oh, that's your girlfriend. You know, he's like, no, I'm just like you. I don't have anyone. Frank's like, just like me. What are you talking about? Like, you think I choose to be like this? Everyone I loved is dead. Like, you know, if any of them were still breathing, I would be there.
I would not be doing this. I would not be
living like this. This is not
exactly. Which again, it's a nice little full circle moment where now Peter is the one giving that talk to Jean Grey, and then we finally come out of it all, and then now we're like face to face. We're outside of Peter's mind, and I think that was one of the greatest things that you can show that separates Spider-Man and what makes him so powerful is his empathy for others.
And not only that, I love that there's a lot of ways where Spider-Man in different media and comics, you know, where Spider-Man first meets the X-Men, and they kind of don't really see eye to eye, or then they do, then they don't. And this is a great way for Spider-Man to have immediate, like, develop an empathy with the X-Men before the existence of the X-Men, really, but, you know, to find this common ground. And it's a cool way to retell the story in this.
Yeah, and again, like, what's the one thing that Spider-Man always feels? He has this sense of responsibility, and if his technology does fall into the hands of Damage Control, because he gave him basically like the blueprint of how to do this, he's gonna feel this huge responsibility towards the entire mutants.
Yeah, if this
like,
is not just the X-Men. If it comes back the way you and I are kind of expecting it to, then it's gonna definitely.
Yeah, and man, that's gonna eat up at him. I already know.
Yeah. So this is again that was a beautiful moment of them connecting, of Peter understanding that, like, because it's really through this fight that he has come to understand this, right? Like up until now he didn't. That he has come to understand that no, I can't just be this thing, and I can't just be alone.
And what helped too, that I'm just now kind of like piecing together. What helped is right before this fight, he had that moment of community and friendship
with Ned and MJ,
and camaraderie with Ned and MJ, and it's like he said that out loud because like Nev's like, oh, I'm sorry, like you must be boring or stuff like.
No, it's the
Like
most
no,
fun. I think. Yeah,
it's the most fun I've had in years.
yeah.
And then that let him realize that too. That was another thing that helped him get to that conclusion.
Definitely. Yeah, that the fight, Jean taunting him about like not knowing who he is, all of it going through the memory of Aunt May. I think all of it brings him to this point and it allows him to bring Jean Grey like to this point. And like because she does actually feel it. She feels like not alone. You could see it in that moment. Sadie Sink does a great job of just conveying this with her.
Fantastic
with her eyes.
Actress. I have not I was never like a Stranger Things fanatic, so I never really got to see her work there. Fantastic actress, and she locked out a major role for herself.
Yeah. This is awesome. Like she did great. She kicked butt with this role. It was like you said, just an awesome actress, man. And she conveys this part really good of her like really being affected by first the Aunt May speech and the memory, and then connecting with Peter, and then having Peter say, "No, you have me. Like we need each other because neither of us have people."
Unfortunately, that all gets cut short quickly
because
and abruptly.
Peter senses an incoming danger. Yeah. Instantly.
And what is that danger, Bosch?
It is he snaps out of the memory because he feels it coming into the room before they're still in the memory, and he feels it like an invading danger on its way, and he snaps him out of this memory, and he just senses the sniper rifle shot that Frank Castle has taken, because the two of them were so perfectly still this entire time that he took a clear shot for Jean Grey. Credit to Frank Castle, because that is smart for him to be like, there's no way for me to get in here and have this superpower battle, but I can get to a vantage point and I can end all this with a sniper shot like that. That's smart, regardless of the gun violence, shooting a teenager part of it. But like, if you're trying to
the moral aspect of things,
but if you're trying to take a super villain, this is a Punisher who I understand. This is the tactically smart Punisher.
Yes, Spider-Man, however, takes that bullet for Jean Grey.
Yeah, he actually moves to save her, and you see him save her, and it's like because he snaps out of that memory, and he's like, "Oh snap, the bullet's coming!" Saves her. And you're like, is Jean okay? She's okay. And it's like, oh no, she's okay. I'm okay. And he looks down and there's blood on her hand. And she's like, no, I'm okay. And she looks at him, and that's because he's the one who got shot when he moved to take it out. Falls to the floor. He's telling her to get out of here because now they're coming. They're coming for you, and you have to get out of here. And she's like, no, I'm not going to leave you. She's trying to save him. She's trying to figure out, to keep pressure on. But there's blood now pooling on the floor. Behind Spider-Man. And Frank sees the aftermath of his shot as well. You're wondering if this is the end of like Tom Holland Spider-Man, right? A little bit at this point.
Because they did tease, because they were asking, are you going to come back for more Spider-Man and stuff like that? And Tom was being a little tongue-in-cheek about it. He was like, oh, if it depends on how this one goes, if they'll have me for more, I'll come back. But they did a really good moment. And then what really solidified this was Jean just now finding someone that she felt like she could relate to. Yeah. And like she might be losing this person. It became very traumatic. And then not only that, but it was very traumatic for Frank, because he's like,
he just
my God. Yeah, I just shot like Spider-Man.
Yeah, his friend, really.
Yeah, his friend. And it almost broke him. Like someone that he genuinely cares about, someone that he cares about since his family, and he was the cause of it all.
And the next thing you see as Spidey passes out is Jean refuses to leave, even though Spidey insists that she do.
Yeah, she's like, look at me, and then you could see that she's kind of using her powers.
Yep, she's trying to use her telekinetic powers in this instance as well as her telepathic powers. I think that's what you saw with her trying to like keep him together, essentially. That's how I read it anyway.
Yeah, almost kind of like when you put pressure on the wound, try to stop the bleeding. That's essentially kind of like what she did. Yeah, and then that great shot of Frank carrying
the Punisher is carrying in Spider-Man into the hospital,
which is again taken straight out of a panel from the comics.
Yeah, it was cool as hell. It was heartbreaking, but it was also cool to just see this gut-wrenched, anguished Punisher rushing through the hospital doors with Spider-Man, in his arms. And that was awesome, because you do see him in his bedside as time has passed. Right?
Yeah, this time has passed.
Before you even see that, though, there is the news tells, because everybody's worried, and they say, like, Spider-Man's been rushed. He's been in critical condition. The person who saved New York from all these threats and disasters and villains and
the city coming together to
Ned and MJ seeing it on the news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly what you were saying. The city coming together.
Mm-hmm. Peter waking up in the hospital bed slowly. No, actually, you kind of get like a scene of like Peter in the hospital bed, and it goes back and forth, cuts back and forth between Jean, and then Jean finally letting go. I guess
Jean's kind of in his head. You know what? Let Mystique out, because this part doesn't have much to do with the X-Men, so she's had.
Yeah, so she kind of just lets Peter go, and then Peter just slowly wakes up after Jean lets go of him. He starts to realize his whole surroundings. He sees all the gifts that people have brought, the balloons, flowers, and stuff
one of those is the drawing that MJ made.
That MJ alluding to, letting you know that MJ visited him while he was while he was in the hospital. And then he turns
got the painting to Frank somehow. Or
got it to Frank.
But time has passed, right?
Time has passed clearly, and then looks over to his shoulder, to his left hand side, and he sees Frank's just sleeping at his bedside. Didn't leave him.
Bro, hold on for 1 minute here. Yes, funny and awesome scene and touching. We saw one last kill. This mass murdering serial killer psychopath is just hanging out in this hospital room, and the entire city of New York is cool with it. That is disturbing on many levels.
Yeah. Again,
this man has killed hundreds of people.
Some plot holes there for sure. He talks to Frank. Frank wakes up, and they have this moment. He gets very emotional. He's he tries to apologize and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's like, it's not okay. It's not.
No, that's not okay. I almost killed you and stuff like that. And it's almost kind of like him having this moment of respecting and seeing Spider-Man's point of view, that he doesn't have to kill everyone.
Yeah, and also how it could go wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly. How easily it can go wrong, because one of the first things that he says to him is you can't shoot yourself out of every situation. Innocent people might get hurt.
Yeah.
Exactly what happened at the conclusion of the film.
Exactly. And it's great banter though, as they get beyond that emotional moment, because talking about that, and he says they're friends, and Peter's like, "Are we friends?" And it's just great. I also really love the bit where, because remember, the whole time Spider-Man never took off his mask, and so even the Punisher, made fun of him for it many times, and
it's you won't even take it off to drink a cup of coffee.
Yeah, because Spidey pulls it up while they're in the lair.
Which again, I love whenever he eats something or drinks something, he just lifts his mask.
Some of my favorite comic panels, bro. Just him hanging out eating like a donut or a slice of pizza with the mask only up on his nose. Yeah.
Fucking fantastic, man.
Yeah, but Punisher says, looks over Frank, I guess, looks over at him and he says, "You look exactly how I thought you would. How I always thought you did." And you think he's going to say something cutting or biting here, but he says no, and he says, "Like a really good kid." Which
just kind of have this whole back and forth, and he's Peter wants to leave and stuff. He's like, "Don't worry, whenever you're ready to leave, I got a plan."
Yeah, he even reassures him, because Peter's freaking out about his mask. He's like, "Don't worry, we had it on, we had it off, whatever, I protected your identity."
Yeah, it's just kind of reassuring Peter. Is "Don't worry, man, it's fine."
And he hears the cheering from outside. Peter does, and Frank's like, "Why don't you go over and take a look? They've been out here this whole time, this whole group." And and there's a massive crowd,
huge, almost like the New York Knicks parade.
Yeah,
it was a whole celebration. Peter's in civilian clothes at this point, leaving the hospital. And he
because that's Frank's plan. He's like, I have a plan to help you sneak out of here.
Yeah. He's in the crowd at this point, and then someone's like, "Hey guys, look, it's Spider-Man." And then the viewers, obviously, we think, "Oh, they made out Peter." They know that he's Spider-Man. No,
because he's coming out all hurt and limping.
Yeah, but no, it's not that. They go back to they look in the window of the room that Peter was in, and it's Frank wearing the mask. And he's just like waving.
He's wearing the Spider-Man mask, and he's just being goofy. He's like waving to the crowd. He's pumping his arms, and he even puts on the gloves, and he's just like. Yeah. And then he hilariously, they cut to him from inside the room, looking out at him, looking over the crowd, and he is doing his stupid Punisher grunting. He's just like, for like no reason at all in this room. I don't understand.
Like no one's there. No one can hear him.
No one's there. This is not a fight. What are you doing? Doing?
No, and it's great. Peter's able to actually see the impact and the good he's done. Like he sees that little kid in Spider-Man, like shoots him with the web shooter. He does the same thing back to him, and I loved it because it looked very similar to his original homemade suit that he had in Homecoming at the end of that film as well.
Yeah,
and then he gets on the.
I think it was a Miles shout out for a minute, but that kid's hair. Was
I thought maybe it could be a Miles shout out, but I was like, I don't think so. Like it could be, but again,
the kid was a little too young, and like maybe not, but it was kind of a vague enough, like the kid in the Iron Man sequence, that supposedly like Peter like shooting.
Yeah. I mean, they did confirm that was in fact Peter Parker, not Tom Holland, obviously portraying him, but that was him.
Right. So a similar moment there, but yeah, he heads out. I know that we do get a shot here of Jean Grey in a bus, and she looks like she is heading upstate. I'm gonna guess a place called Westchester.
But aside from that, we do cut back to Peter. He's on the phone.
He's talking to Jean DeWolf.
Jean DeWolf,
He knows her kids' names now. He doesn't think it's called Poppy.
Exactly. And in the middle of their conversation, she's just kind of like checking in on him, and then they get like this like phone calls talking about like a bank robbery, and Ham's like, "Oh, I'll be right there. I'm not that far." I was like, "No, take time for yourself. Just rest. Just kind of like again being that motherly figure that he hasn't had since.
Like we can handle a bank robbery.
Yeah, we can handle. Just chill." And he actually listens. He actually takes the advice and listens. He goes. I think he goes back to the bodega as well. Well, actually, probably before going to the bodega, we actually see a scene where MJ is on top of the roof of their high school while she's holding the Black Dahlia necklace that Peter gave him.
Yeah.
Alluding to like, will there be more? Like, does she remember something?
Yeah.
Because one thing that I noticed, and I didn't see a lot of people talk about this, was when Jean had everybody mind frozen, everyone was just kind of like frozen and like scared.
But MJ was crying.
But MJ was crying, almost like could Jean had unlocked some memory?
Maybe. Although, like, I think because of the nature of the spell, the memories aren't locked. They're like gone.
Yeah, they completely erase. So unless she puts Peter's memories,
maybe she could have put Peter's memory.
So again,
it's a nice theory. I like it. It's
a theory. It's a theory. There's nothing in there that's like fully giving me any inclination that that's actually what's happening. Yeah. But like that's the last thing we see of MJ. Again, Peter going to pick up some flowers, probably going to take it to May, and he just happens to see Ned chilling and like sitting down on the table, and he takes that leap. He's like, I'm going to introduce myself.
Up to him. Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm Peter Parker. And he doesn't, and obviously Ned doesn't know this because he met him as Spider-Man, right?
Yeah. He met him as Spider-Man. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, you're
Spider-Man's name is Peter or whatever.
You're dude from the party, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it's like, yeah, my name's Peter. And then goes to like shake his hand, and they just like start doing.
Ned is confused, but like Peter just keeps going with their normal handshake, and Ned is muscle memory, baby, kicks in.
Muscle memory. Ned, like you say, completely confused, but like it's happening almost like by itself, similar to like Peter's spider sense, just happening on instinct alone.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Peter. and then the screen cuts to black.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
So a lot of people were saying that the handshake, Ned's magic and stuff like that.
That's true. Ned does have that magic. The magic history.
Yeah. So, but I think they left it ambiguous on purpose. I don't personally believe that Ned remembers Peter.
Yeah,
I think he just pieced together that, well, like you mentioned, that MJ slipped. Peter is the name of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm Peter. It's like, Peter, you're Spider-Man. Like,
yep.
I think that's what it was. I think what we're gonna see, like you said, I don't think these memories are coming back for them. At least not in the next film.
Yeah.
Maybe like once
as a result of Secret Wars or something like that.
Maybe at that point, once we have a hard reset, could be. But I think what we do now is that Peter just kind of like just starts from scratch, rebuilding these friendships.
Yeah.
With MJ and Ned. And I think that's what happens going forward.
He's got a more human, more normal relationship.
Like, he's still friends with them. He's rebuilding the friendships. Obviously, it's not what it was before. But yeah, I think that's what happens. I don't think MJ and Peter get back together. I think they will eventually.
Yeah, I feel like that's how the story will end. But I am very happy if we don't delve on that too much, or dwell on that, I should say, for the next couple movies.
No, because I do want
to date a little. Let Peter have some other.
I want to see that dynamic with Felicia Hardy and Black Hat. You know, I want to see that dynamic specifically. Yeah. But yeah, so that was the film. We do get one post-credit scene where it is the Spider Tracker app.
Yeah, Ned's cartoonish little Spider Tracker app.
Yeah. Where it's
Spider
like
Tracker, should call it.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Where it shows that Spider-Man's in Queens, and then it starts glitching and going back and forth, like searching or whatever, and it starts to expand outside of the United States, outside of the planet Earth, going into space. We see some glitches or whatever on the screen, and then they find a new sighting, and it's just in space. We don't see where it is. Is it another planet? Is it another universe or stuff like that? And then that's it. And then we know that Spider-Man will return, but we don't know when, because they don't say Doomsday, they don't say Secret Wars.
The whole audience is kind of expecting that to say like in Avengers Doomsday or something, but it doesn't do any of that. It just says that he'll return, which is cool.
And I think the reason for that is because Spider-Man will return. It just okay. So, is there anything else we have to talk about before we go into like little speculation and wrap this thing up?
No, I think that's what we recapped the entire movie in a time that was about the runtime of the movie. So I think we got that well covered.
Yeah, so don't even watch the movie. Just listen to us talk about the movie.
If you can't make it to theaters, this is the runtime of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
We got you covered.
But yeah, so my personal belief, obviously, I don't think Spider-Man's gonna be Tom Holland. Spider-Man is gonna be in Doomsday. Maybe he'll make maybe he's able to film one scene, or whatever to like lead into Secret Wars.
I kind of agree with you. I think that Doomsday now, especially with what we saw in this movie and the way that post-credit scene went, is I think Doomsday is going to be focused on the Avengers and the X-Men.
The Avengers, the Fox X-Men,
and then the tie-in like large groups that we see.
Yes, we know incursions are happening, and I think all these universes are going to be coming in together.
The cosmic forces, the Atlanteans.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's someone showing up for.
Yeah, exactly.
But the Atlanteans, the Wakandans, the FF, the Avengers, and then the Fox universe. Which will be.
I also believe that the Sam Raimi verse is going to be in this. So
it's totally possible, yeah.
My fan theory is that the reason why the app was glitching is because it was reporting two simultaneous
Spider-Man I definitely thought this through. I do think it's picking up a Spider-Man in Doomsday. Like it's picking up Spider-Man from Doomsday.
I think that's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Yeah, or Andrews, but yeah.
No, I think it's going to be Tobey. I think I feel because they made reference to Peter too, which is Tobey.
You do got to get that antidote so Peter can get rid of his bite.
Yes, exactly.
Tom Holland can get rid of his
and then Doomsday slash Secret Wars kind of feels like a swan song, like a farewell to the Fox universe. But I think
Deadpool versus Wolverine was definitely that swan song. But this is an addendum, like a proper.
Yeah, they're like a proper end to.
I did
those
really
characters.
like though the way Deadpool and Wolverine did the Green Day Good Riddance song.
I thought it was great. But I think they're also gonna lump in Toby and maybe even Andrew. But Toby for sure, I think is.
I think so. My theory is, I think everything else that happens, they will loop in, like you said. I agree with you. I think they will pull in like all of this other stuff, whether it's specifically Toby or Andrew or whatever. I don't know, but I think they'll pull in other Fantastic Four, Spider-Man stuff. Maybe even other universes, other Blade, Ghost Rider, whatever. It could be anyone, right? Punishers. But I think everyone except for the X-Men, in terms of like non-MCU, I think outside of the MCU characters, the only ones who are going to play a major part, in my opinion, are the X-Men. I think everybody else is going to be shown in like basically dying or some scene like that. That's my theory. That's my guess.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, obviously, it's gonna like echo like what we saw in Infinity War, where they face the big bad, they lose, then they take that big L, and then they had to regroup and get that final concluding victory in Secret War.
I think to make it a little different than Infinity War, they might even make it so that they win, but they don't realize what that win cost them. And the win is actually like they think they win, but in reality, Doom got Secret Wars, the way he wanted to set up, and that the Avengers think they beat him, but in reality they don't. That's my guess, because I don't know if they want to mirror exactly what happened in Infinity War with like the
No, I don't think they will mirror, honestly, but we'll see. But we'll save the fan speculation for later. But I think this is it for this recap.
Yeah. What did you think of the movie, man? It was overall, I think I liked it a lot.
I think it was 10 out of 10. I think it might be my favorite Spider-Man live action film.
That's tough, man. I got a lot of connection to Spider-Man 2, which I think Spider-Man 2
it's Spider-Man 2 or this. And
I think Spider-Man 2 still is like the pinnacle of superhero films, like alongside like The Dark Knight and Logan. Yes. Like I think those are like the three great superhero movies. Very different, each of them. But yeah, I think but in terms of favorite and best, it's a tough call. I do like, it might be Spider-Man 2, but I like this a lot. I think I would say this is a better movie. Like it's better shot, it's better structured, it has fewer flaws than most of the other Spider-Man, but especially the MCU stuff. I think this is one of the much better as a film, structurally, visually, directing, like the effects, the practical effects, the shot locations. I liked what they did in this a lot better. So I think I'm hoping it carries forward. Director Destin Daniel Cretton was awesome with this, the director of
Shang-Chi. Once I found out, it's like, the dude directed Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
Oh man, this is gonna kill. They're gonna fucking kill it.
Yeah. All the comic book cover homages, just I think they did such a good job of making this.
I'm so glad they changed directors. And you can see night and day, like completely different. And like you said, obviously Far From Home is good, but I think it's only good because you have those moments of seeing all three versions of Spider-Man's on screen together.
No Way Home.
Yeah, No Way Home.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Far From Home. No Way Home. But
honestly, No Way Home is more. I described it to somebody recently as, it is a better theater experience. It's a better fan experience. It's a bigger spectacle.
Yes,
but it's doesn't hold up as well as a movie, a structure.
No. I think it's this.
Rewatching it is not as satisfying as it is at times, because just seeing the villains interact and stuff like that is cool.
The interactions between each Spider-Man is what is so cool to see. But honestly, I think this is the best Tom Holland Spider-Man film we've seen.
Yeah.
It might be the best, if not the second best Spider-Man film of all time in terms of live action. And 10 out of 10. I love this, and I'm gonna go back and watch it again.
Yeah, I'm going to try to see if it's available because obviously it wasn't an IMAX, which is my preferred format because the Odyssey is dominating screens at the moment. So I'm going to see if maybe there's like a Dolby digital or whatever they call that, Dolby Cinema screening or something.
Yeah.
I'd like to see this in a premium format.
Same as well. I had to settle for standard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bosch, where can everybody find you if they want to talk Spider-Man, man?
As always, you can hit me up on Blue Sky. I am at systemlords.bsky.social.
All right. And you can follow me on social media at SESvince. You can follow the show at 606 Universe on Twitter, on Instagram, on social media. We're on YouTube as well at 606 Universe. Go check out at Wallet Media Inc. as well. They be dropping a lot of fun content there as well. For that being said, we
prepare for the reign of mutants, people. Your time of your weak ass Avengers is over.
I'm very much excited for this mutant saga for sure. Magneto was right, guys. Magneto was right, and he was right to guide you guys over here. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Talk more comics. Later, y'all.
Peace was never an option.